I can't believe we're here.
Oh, what a celebration we'll have today. Thank goodness. We've been doing this for 100 weeks.
Months.
Wait, yeah, that's so much worse.
I was like, hang on. I was like, haven't we been doing this for 400 weeks?
100 months of my life have gone to reading all your creepy tales, and today on the 100th, we get to do it again.
Okay, I'm so excited. Also, Eva made a very funny note that apparently people still write in about the Lost episode 16, but apparently that was our April Fool's episode. I think it was the one with Allison. However, we did it back then. I don't know, or maybe we had maybe Blaze, you and I did one.
Blaze, Zandy, and Allison all played different characters of us.
That couldn't have been the first ever April Fool's, because that would have been. I mean, 16 episodes in was like 2017, and I was still living in that weird apartment. So I don't know what what April Fool's we did, but apparently we didn't call it 16.
Oh.
And so we skipped a number. So when people look like in the thing, it doesn't say, it looks like we skipped 16. Anyway, so apparently Megan was like, oh, let's call it like the Lost episode 6, like episode 100 Lost episode 16.
Sure.
Anyway, so apparently that's been part of the lore that I had totally forgotten about. I'm sure whatever we did 18 weeks in or 16 weeks in was very, oh no, I'm sorry. I did the same thing you did, 16 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so dumb. Okay, so 16 months, it would have been the Allison Blaze.
Yeah, I think it was where we had them.
You're totally right.
You and I were downstairs watching Bob's Burgers while they recorded on our equipment, and we were like, "This is the life."
And
this
now
is
I'm like,
lovely.
"Is that how they feel every day?
every single time I leave them alone?" Yeah.
And Blaze is like driving Leon around town, like, "No, it's not how I feel every day." But thanks for asking.
Oh man, well, 100 months of this. I almost want to say weeks or years, but 100 months
feels like years, yeah,
of reading people's listener stories. And because it's the 100th, we decided we were going to double up this time and give you twice the amount of stories that we usually do. And not only that, but they are a best of compilation throughout the several months. And we're
a handful of months, just 100 of them.
We're gonna and this is where we give total applause to like Katie and Eva for going through and looking at the backlog and asking all of you what your favorite,
and Megan, because she apparently put posts. I know we try to ignore Megan as much as possible. It's the name, it just happens, but
it just doesn't feel right to like her.
It doesn't feel right to give her accolades. She these people like run our lives.
Megan's like cracking her knuckles somewhere, ready to beat me up.
That's so scary. I'm so scared of Megan. We're just kidding. But anyway, yeah, they did a lot of work to compile these stories, and Eva claims that Em and I will remember most, if not all of these. And somehow I'm starting to think, no way in hell am I going to remember all of them. But I don't know.
No, because if you think about it, 100 episodes of this and at least 6 stories each time, that's 600 stories. So hard to remember all of them. And I feel bad when people come forward like they're in trouble.
But like a shadowy podium appears. Eva says, "Here's your mics. Say what you need to say."
When they've approached us at meet and greets or in public, and they're like, "Oh, you read one of my stories." It's like, I'm so sorry, I don't remember 600 stories. But
no, it's Emma always says that. Em goes, "I'm so sorry, I don't remember 600 stories," and then they start crying, and it's and then they step forward to the podium. No, yeah, we don't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there will be some that are like ones we talk about behind the scenes. I don't know. We'll see. I guess
our memories will be jogged, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe we'll pretend we know. Do we know who goes first, Em, or anything like that?
We can rock paper scissors it.
I thought you were gonna say we can. Never mind. I thought you were gonna say we can raw dog it, and I was like, I don't know why you should say that again. You already said that earlier today. Okay, there's only one. What's happened?
Rock paper scissors.
Oh my god! I thought you were trying to punch me.
I'm not Megan.
Okay. So
I need to lotion my hand. God damn.
I do too. I'm not putting mine that close to the screen. You know what else I thought you were trying to do was set up another like Apple reaction on the screen, like you keep doing. So I was like, is this a new one? Like you're gonna punch me through the computer? Okay.
Wait, are you a 1, 2, 3 shoot or just go on 3?
I'm a shoot. Rock paper scissors shoot.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh no. We're both scissors.
So,
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh no. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
you
Snip.
win.
I win. Okay. Anyway. Oops.
Great.
I just turned them all upside down. Hold on. Okay. Here's episode.
Oh, okay.
What?
Never mind. I'm sorry. I was just going to be myself. That's all.
I told you to stop doing that.
I was going to say we should have a rock, paper, scissors that's like paranormal themed.
We've said I was just going to be myself. Imagine that's like out of context. This one on Reddit is like, yeah, one time M tried to be themselves and Christine said, stop doing that. We don't get to make fun, cool rock, paper, scissors hand games.
And that was the day I stopped listening.
Yeah, that was the day I stopped listening. Me too. Okay, so this is called Black-Eyed Kids, BEK, Spooky Nightmare. That feels like maybe something we'll remember, but I don't know. This is from...
But before you crack into this, what do you drink?
So I have a Liquid Death, of course, because it just fits the vibe, and it's the sparkling kind that you're not a fan of. Oh, and you have the white one. Look at us.
Yay, ebony and ivory working together in harmony. I also brought a London fog on purpose.
A London frog?
So, ribbit. Please go. I have to really stop.
No, I think what they do is they go like, ribbit, eh? What's the thing that British people say?
Is this a British frog?
Yes! You said a London frog.
Oh, you're right. That's funny. Now that's comedy.
Thank you. Well, I tried. It obviously was too elevated for your taste. It went right over your head. Okay, here we go. This is from Abby. She, her. 100 months, dear God. Okay, this says, hi friends, I'm currently on a re-listen of the early days, oh no, and came across the Black-Eyed Kids episode where it triggered a memory of my most frightening nightmare. At the time of the nightmare, I had no prior knowledge of Black-Eyed Kids and actually had not learned about them until 5 years ago through podcasts. Hey, thanks. You're welcome. To set the scene before the nightmare begins, we lived in a 2-story house with my bedroom on the 2nd floor. Just below my windows is where a 1st floor addition was. Therefore, I could easily crawl through a window and be on the flat roof of the addition. There wasn't an easy way to get up or down without a ladder, though. Trust teenage me, I certainly tried.
Okay.
Cue the nightmare. It's evening. I'm in my room where, by the way, everything is normal. Throughout the dream.
Thank you for that.
I can't say the same.
I was imagining something incredibly abnormal. I'm glad that we got here.
Well, you're in a dream. I mean, it could be like I was in my childhood bedroom, not my normal bedroom. I don't know. I'm in my room. Okay, cue the nightmare. It's evening. I'm in my room where, by the way, everything is normal, which immediately, again, makes me think something's totally abnormal. But anyway.
If one day Leona goes up to you and goes, Mommy, everything's normal.
Everything in my room is perfectly normal, in case you're wondering. And I didn't try to get off the flat roof without a ladder. Oh, God. Okay. Throughout the dream, my house is exactly as it should be, which isn't typical, at least for me. Usually there's some sort of wild dream extra room. I'm always finding an extra room in my dreams, but I've talked about that before. Anyway, there wasn't. So I'm in my room and I hear a tap on my window. I hesitantly walk over and move the shade just enough to peer out. I see a young girl with black hair and black eyes. I quickly step back and attempt to scream, but this is dream world, so I can't. And I'm very aware that I can't. In a panic, I run for the door and find my mom. I hysterically explain my fear, and she, being the kind mom she is, replies, "We have to go let her in."
No.
Immediately, I begin sobbing and protesting her horrible plan. Sadly, she won the fight and went to the window to let the girl in. New dream scene. I am now in our perfectly normal living room with my mom, dad, and scary black-eyed kid girl. I'm pleading with my horror movie and novel-loving dad to understand why she cannot be here with us. I love that it's like, I'll turn to dad. He knows the horror movie tropes.
He knows to never open the door, at least. You'd think he would be on your side. You would have. He
knows about Tamra's home, you know? He's heard it all. It's so obvious to me that this is the beginning of some sort of horror story, and I couldn't believe my dad wasn't on my side. While I'm begging for help, BEK girl is sitting with my mom, staring at me with her black void eyes. I'm so terrified and angry that they won't believe me. My dad finally speaks and says, "You need to get over this. She's staying. Now go and give her a hug."
Dad?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? I thought you were my homie in this. What's going on?
Whose team are you on? Despite my heart beating nearly out of my chest and my brain screaming to run, I obliged. I slowly walked toward BEK girl as she rose for the hug. We embrace, and as we do, she digs her nails into my back and forcefully drags them all the way up to my neck as I scream and writhe in pain. I wake in the dark of my room, sweating and terrified. I never opened that shade again, and that summer, while repainting my room, I accidentally painted that window shut.
Yeah.
It's been about it's been about 15 years since the dream, and it still gives me goose cam ick. I've tried to find any meaning, psychological or otherwise, behind it, but nothing really tracks. I really hope it's not an omen, though. Thanks, love you, bye. The end. Thanks,
Thank
Abby.
you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, Dad, I would be mad at him the next. You know how when you wake up after a dream where you're like your partner cheated on you, and then you like obviously have the right to be mad for the next 24 hours?
You're so hurt. Yeah.
I would never speak to my dad again.
Yeah. And then they always inevitably do that thing of like, well, it's your subconscious. It's like, that's besides the point.
Oh, man. And also, like, I feel like painting your window shut, I like to think that that would help. But then there was that scene in Hocus Pocus where Bette Midler just used her long nail and just cut through the glass.
Ew.
And I'm like, oh, well,
I thought you were going to say cut through the paint, the dried paint. That's
no, just paint through the glass, which is even worse.
Yeah, that's worse. So the window doesn't even matter. Just open the windows. Okay, I've always had very, very, very dry skin, and I always felt like all the little algorithms were being like, oh, skincare tips for oily skin girlies, and I was always like, doesn't work for me. But I found Apostrophe, and thankfully they were able to help me get some expert care. And now I'm excited to say we're partnering with them.
Apostrophe is an online platform that connects you with an expert dermatology team to get customized acne and dermatology treatment for your unique skin. So I know these days I guess it's combination skin because everything but my forehead is bone dry, and then my forehead is a slip and slide.
Oh, well, finally someone can be like, oh, you just need this, this, and this. And it's like, thank you, because you can cut through all the BS online. You know, it's hard to find somebody who can lead you the right direction. Simply fill out an online consultation about your skin goals and medical history. It's super easy. Then snap a few selfies and a dermatology provider will create a customized treatment plan just for you.
We have a special deal for our audience. Get your first visit for only $5 at apostrophe.com/drink when you use our code DRINK. That's a savings of $15, and this code is only available to our listeners.
Just go to apostrophe.com/drink and click get started, then use our code DRINK at sign up, and you'll get your first visit for only $5. Thank you, Apostrophe, for sponsoring this episode. So it's January, and it can be a very hard time, especially if you're trying to avoid like the common diet culture pitfalls that sort of like have a stranglehold on many of us. And so that's something I struggle with every year, but we're really excited to be working with Faye Nutrition. Faye is a revolutionary platform that connects you with your own personal registered dietitian, making expert nutrition guidance accessible and affordable.
Dietitians on Faye work with you one-on-one to create a customized program tailored specifically to your needs.
It's just such a cool idea. And I love that they even have stats. So 93% of Faye clients reported an improved relationship with food. And I just think that's really, 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 really cool because that's something that I've spent years working on.
Personally, I love just having a better relationship with food, regardless of weight loss. But if you're someone who is interested in weight loss, 85% of their clients reach their target weight. And a third-party study showed that clients lost 2.9 times more weight working with a dietitian through Faye.
They're like there for you, which is just so cool.
Yeah. And again, the best part is that Faye is covered by insurance.
Amazing.
Achieve lasting results with the help of a registered dietitian through Faye. Listeners of And That's Why We Drink can qualify to see a registered dietitian for as little as $0 by visiting faynutrition.com/drink.
That's faynutrition.com/drink. One last time, that's Faye, F-A-Y, nutrition.com/drink. And make sure you use the URL so they know we sent you.
Well, this one is from Nicolette, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns. And the title is My Late Mom Saved Me from the Black-Eyed Kids. Okay. Did everyone just request Black-Eyed Kids for this?
I probably would have voted for that if it were on a poll. So.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, here we go. Hi, you guys. Just to start off, y'all are the best. The best thing to happen to podcasts. Oh my God. I didn't even know how to read that. That was so nice. Ghost Criminals, Baby Babies, which is Gio and Junie at the time. Not even Moonshine. Wow. Milkshakes, wine. What more could I ask for?
Well, apparently we brought you a lot more stuff like moonshine and lemons and etc.
Lemon hadn't even hit the scene probably. Okay, here I go. It's short, sweet, and spooky. To give a little background, my mom passed away suddenly last December, leaving me shocked and sad. Since she wanted to be cremated, that's what my family and I chose for her. I got one of those necklaces you can put loved ones' ashes into, and this is important for later. Fast forward 9 months, and my fiance and I are in our first home together. He works a lot, leaving my puppy Piper and I home by ourselves a lot. One evening, I was watching Hill House with Piper, and there was a knock at the door.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no thanks. Since I was home alone and a little on edge from the show, I chose not to answer the door, but Piper went crazy, barking and whining at the door anyway. I looked out the window, thinking my fiance may have gotten home from work early, and Piper usually just knows when he's coming home. No one was at the door. I shrugged it off and went back to watching the show, and not even 10 minutes later, there was another knock at the door.
No.
This time more like banging than knocking.
That's that.
Police time. I jumped off the couch and looked out the window, and 2 boys were standing on my porch. Police time.
This all of it's bad. If they're real boys, if they're not real, like it's just already so bad. This is my nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if they're just normal middle schoolers asking for money or something. I don't know.
Being new to the area, I thought maybe they were Boy Scouts or something. Okay, Nicolette.
Yes.
That's very nice of you to think. Not me.
But it's
I'd
also
be like,
bad.
Those are 7-year-old murderers.
I'd be like, they're Boy Scouts, aka 7-year. I'm afraid of them as I am of 7-year-old murderers. They're an equal threat in my eyes.
100%. I opened the door, bent over to hold back Piper, and they immediately said, at the same time, "Can we rub your dog?" I don't like that it said rub. I don't like that it was rub, not pet.
Sorry? Can we rub your dog?
I was taken aback, but said, sure. And then in all caps, it says, "Bad decision. I know, M. Don't even say it." Okay. Drag me. But also, you're the one who let it happen. So they stepped a bit inside to pet her. I stood up straight, and that's when I saw their eyes. They were pitch black. And I felt my legs go numb, like the staticky feeling when you've been sitting too long.
Oh my God, you had a physical... This is so bad. Out
of habit, I reached up to touch my necklace, and they both stopped touching Piper and took a couple steps backward. And she went to touch her mom's ashes.
Oh, the ashes, right. Oh my God.
And they recoiled from that. One of them said, "Who was that?"
No! How do I not remember this story?
It's literally like a brand new scene. I've never experienced this in my life.
Eva's gonna have like such a renewed sense of anti-faith in it. What's the opposite of faith? Like such a loss of faith in us. She was like, "No, you'll remember these. I don't know. Don't worry." Yeah, despair. Holy shit, that's fucking... Who was that? Did we read this? Are you sure, guys? Are you sure?
We never read this in our entire
lives. I'm traumatized.
Do I have a head injury? Like, there's no way we've read this.
I wonder if we go back and listen if we how... I don't know. It's probably so embarrassing to play them side by side. Like, we probably had the exact same fucking reaction the first time.
I wonder if I got dragged twice.
I'm sure you did, and I'm sure you took it very personally both times.
Okay, where were we? Oh,
I'm so freaked out right now. So he says, "Who was that?"
Truly, like the hairs on my everywhere are standing up.
Horrible.
Okay, and they took a couple steps back, and they said, "Who was that?"
No.
I was confused and said, "What do you mean, my necklace?" They looked at each other and said, "Yes, ma'am, we will leave now."
No.
And they walked off my porch.
No, they're aliens. No.
The moment they left, the feeling in my legs came back, and I felt strange, scared, and confused. After thinking about it, I came to the conclusion that my mom scared away those things, because who were they calling me ma'am, and why did they ask, "Who is that?" Since then, I wear my necklace religiously. Oh my God. Thank you for reading. Sorry it became long and sweet. No, don't feel... Yeah, F you for being sweet. Keep on cracking.
I don't know. I'm scared. I wish it were sweeter.
This is like one of the first I'm saying. I'm team milkshake all the way. Hey, okay.
Hell yeah. You probably said that back then too.
Probably. But anyway, Nicolette, thank you for giving me a reason to have a nightmare tonight. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you for ignoring the part that says, "Still love you, Christine."
Sorry, I didn't see that. I don't think that was in my copy.
Yeah, so, I must have added it to by myself because I was sad.
Maybe,
yeah.
I don't know.
Wow. So, oh my God, just the idea of who was that? Do you think that they could see a spirit, or do you think that they just knew that the ashes belonged to somebody? You know what I mean?
I don't know, but somehow they connected to a soul.
They knew there was
right?
a soul there. Wow.
Ooh.
Nicolette, that's first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss. I know that this is years later now, but I'm sorry all over again. But wow. Ooh, I have just total.
I mean, as someone who believes obviously in all the spooky, it's like, yes, I feel terrible that you lost your mom, but to know that she is very, very,
Very
strongly
much there.
still there.
Yeah.
She is with you, girl. That's
Hell
crazy.
Yeah. And
wow.
Piper's like, what about me? Also you, Piper. Also, rub your dog. I can't. This is all of it so bad. That's why it's so unsettling.
Like, do you have any ketchup for my apple or something?
Yes.
It's like, rub your dog.
It's like, do you have a telegraph like a mobile telegraph? It's like, wait, what did you just say? Are you 13 or not? Like, that's not what it's called. It's just so creepy. Can
also,
I rub your dog?
Let's remember, like, whether or not they were black-eyed kids or like just blue-eyed kids, I would have had a fear of them being at my door. But the fact that they, like, for them to, okay, you know what the real creepy part is? When they go, yes, ma'am, we will leave.
Yes.
Like, what was your mom saying to them to get them that scared? Like, that shaken?
Yes. And, like, what threat was there to them that was, like, exactly so not worth staying, even though they were clearly insistent and persistent and kept knocking, but something was, like, too much and
the banging, I beg to differ.
And the fact that they weren't there the first time they knocked. And what, then they just materialized the second time? Like, this is all just so bad. I'm getting freaked out.
Also, isn't it like once you open the door, do they still need to be invited in? Or is opening the door?
They need to be invited in. I think they need to be invited over the like into the home.
I'm curious. You know what? I actually rescind my congratulations to Piper for being a good dog because, like, that dog let the kids pet her.
Well, the dog can't decide. What is it?
Yeah, but the dog should have gone, you know?
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Don't blame the dog.
Piper, I got a bone to pick with you.
Wow, that's a good one.
And I mean that. So if Piper would like to chime in and defend herself, she can, but I don't know if she's gonna. So.
Well, I'm gonna defend her on everyone's behalf and say, you keep it down.
Keep it
you
to
knock
myself.
it off.
Okay.
My dad used to say knock it down instead of knock it off, or instead of knock it off, he would say knock it down. And so when we were really feeling what's the word, antagonistic, and he would say knock it down, we would just start like knocking stuff off the table. And it made him so mad. I said, you told me to knock it down. Oh my God. Okay. So anyway, here is a story. This is called Black-Eyed Kids and My New Ring. Are they all Black-Eyed Kids?
I thought we were doing a best of, but apparently Eva tricked us.
Well, maybe that is the best of. Maybe that's all anybody wants.
All right. Well, that lets me know what we should be covering every week then.
No, I scrolled forward. There's some mirrors and some time travel, so don't worry. I think they're just maybe chapters, which is really nice.
Categorized.
Yeah. The file of facts. Okay, this one is from Allison She Her, and it's called Black-Eyed Kids and My New Ring Doorbell. Oh no. Hello to Eva, Lemon, Avocado, Geo, Juniper, Christine, and M in no specific order. First, may I suggest someone somehow get you guys a petrified vegetable in the spirit of inclusivity. Empire, Christine Chapel, and the Boozers and Shakers all over the world. You know what to do. No, do not start a rallying cry 5 years after you apparently started a rallying cry to send me stuff. Okay. I had just listened to the episode about the Black-Eyed Kids, and though I knew about their existence beforehand, the stories and hearing Christine's reaction sent me over the edge into, okay, I'm thoroughly terrified of this now territory. So anyway, I listened to that episode in my car alone at night around 2:30 a.m. coming home from work. Oh gosh, I work in a veterinary emergency clinic, so hours are long and random. That was my first mistake, and I think she means listening, not being a emergency vet. Because at first I was like, sorry about that, but I think she just means listening to you at 2:30 in the morning was the mistake.
Gotcha.
The second mistake was apparently trying to fall asleep in my own home after listening to these stories. At exactly 3:33 a.m., Q Collective, of course, from those with paranormal experience, our doorbell rang. Absolutely not. There are a few reasons this is weird. 1, it was 3:33 in the morning. 2, the doorbell rang, but the motion-activated light on our porch did not turn on. See?
No.
It's the same thing. Oh, God. 3, our doorbell has been broken since we moved in 3 years ago. Did we just black out this whole episode because we were so scared?
That's straight up like she died 40 years ago. I know. Like,
and it's like,
what the hell?
And I love the storytelling of like, first thing, that's weird. Second thing, that's weird. Third thing, it's impossible. Like, what? You know, that's such a tension building, man. You're a good writer, Allison.
Well, so okay, now, Woo. So my first thought though would be, if the doorbell is broken and I'm lying in bed, my first thought would be, I'm not getting up. The doorbell's like on the fritz because it's broken, and like maybe it's just like maybe there's a wiring thing. I wouldn't have even thought to check because I would have been like, that's broken. It shouldn't be doing that.
Really? Even at 3 a.m, you hear like ding dong, like reverberate through your house. I'd be like,
that's when I would be talking to the ghost. I go, no, thank you. I don't want this.
Yeah. You would think it was haunted.
Especially when the light didn't go off. I'd be like, because the doorbell's like just on the fritz. Like no one's actually there. But reading this, knowing something scary is going to happen, I hate it.
You're 100% right. And also, it sounds like Allison didn't live alone. In my mind, if I were alone, I absolutely would have just stayed in bed. But Allison has a fiance, or had a fiance, and I don't know. Hopefully, they
may or may not have left after this.
Who knows? But at time of writing, February 18th, 2020, she did have a fiance, and it says, so my fiance clinks engagement ring against glass and offers some advertisement for the Zola app. Okay, so you know what? I'm getting roasted too. Don't worry about it. All right, let's see. Clinks ring against glass. I offer some advertisement for the Zola app. So my fiance springs out of bed and runs to the door. I threw on some real pants and cautiously followed him to the hallway. I watched him hesitate before peering out the peephole. I'm already scared. Then he held there for about... What?
Literally, someone just knocked on the door.
I heard that.
Hang on a second.
Don't... Oh.
Hang on.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This is an actual person. Just...
Oh my God. What if it was... Oh my God. Oh my God. What's happening? Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm putting out the call for a new co-host. Must be 6 feet tall, laugh like a dolphin, and have a deep, unwavering interest in pronouns. I'm just kidding. This is why you don't answer the door. This feels like the ultimate test, you folks. Like, we're reading a thing about how you never answer the door, and Em goes, I would never answer the door. If someone knocks on the door, Em opens the damn door. I'm just realizing, like, the irony in this is just, it's not even irony, because it's, like, too obvious to be irony. Well, it's been real. This poor person, whoever they are, they're just...
So much. Appreciate it. And your name? Em. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Em didn't even make up a fake name.
Worst timing in the world, Christine. Oh my God. It was the last person's realtor. Oh my God.
Or was it?
The worst. Or was it?
I cannot believe you.
No, I know
it was.
It was a strange man. But he was in a suit, and so I fell for the authority.
That's how they do. What do you think Men in Black are? Hello?
No,
you literally just failed the ultimate test. I can't believe we all witnessed that in person. It was the most amazing thing. You just said I would never have opened the door, and now you're like, well, he had a suit on, so I opened the door. It's like,
no,
wait.
to be honest, I've seen him a few times here, so he seemed pretty nice. I've walked past him on the street a couple times, so I think he lives in the neighborhood. Anyway, I know that he was the last person's realtor because he like used her name directly, and I went, oh yeah, I know that girl. So.
It's 3 o'clock on a Monday. Why is he knocking on your door?
He was, I think, doing like some sort of. He gave me his card and everything, so at least I have a phone number in case if something happens to me.
You can call him.
You call the number on this card.
Okay, great. Oh, I call it. Okay, gotcha.
Or let the police know to call it.
I can't believe that just happened. I really was narrating the whole time, like, wow, Em even gave their real name. I can't believe this is happening right now in front of our very eyes. And then I put out a call for a new co-host, so I am sorry if you start getting some emails. If you hear about that, don't worry about it. It's nothing. I really thought you were a goner. Anyway, okay. So the fact that I literally said he peered out the peephole, and then you fucking jumped, and somebody fucking knocked on your door as I said he peered out the peephole, and you went, hang on a sec, let me go get the door. I mean, it's just like, I feel
do you know why I opened the door though? Because I thought it was, today's the first day that we're using the laundry service you told me about. And so I thought that it might be like he was I didn't know how it works yet, so that's why I answered the door.
They don't knock on the door. Don't answer. And they don't probably wear suits, but I don't know. Maybe they do. Oh, God.
I'm so sorry. This whole story just got totally messed up by me.
No, I actually think it really elevated the experience. It was like an immersive experience for all of us, you know? It was so, like, nothing so meta, I don't think, has ever happened on the podcast.
It's like I was reenacting for you how it was going to go.
I was commentating it because I was like, we all know what's about to happen. It's like the real story.
You know, his eyes were weirdly black.
I know. I'm telling you. We all felt the horror happening in front of our very ears. Okay. So anyway, after they threw on some pants, so she throws on pants, she follows her fiance to the door. He hesitates before peering out the peephole. Then he held there for about a minute, which feels like a long time to stare out the peephole for a minute. Well, you didn't stare out the peephole for a minute.
No.
Wait, you stared at it for 0.5 seconds and said, "Come on in." Okay, so it says, I watched him hesitate before peering out the peephole. Then he held there for about a minute before jogging up the stairs to look out the second floor window. And you know, Allison, at least if she's anything like me, was like, what? What is it? What do you see? What are you doing?
Of course.
And he's like just running away upstairs.
Oh, forget it.
Oh my God. Okay, so he runs upstairs. Before jogging upstairs to look out the second floor window, then book it to the living room to look out the back windows, then check every door and window in our house to make sure they were locked. After a long wait, so she's not like me. After a long wait, I finally got up the courage to ask what he had seen. This was my third mistake.
Oh my God.
My totally rational, serious, logical adult male fiance, with whom I have investigated multiple haunted locations without so much as a word about a sighting, who humors me by letting me listen to the podcast while doing daily chores, but doesn't listen on his own time, looks me in the eyes and says, I don't know. Oh my God. Okay, so she said, the question, by the way, was, what had you seen? What did you see?
Sure, yeah.
He says, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I mean, I saw something and I don't know what it was. This is not a sentence I expected to hear, at least not from him.
I mean, can you imagine hearing Blaze say that to you?
I don't know what I saw. And then compiled with the fear that this person has of locking all the windows. Like they saw something, but they don't.
And, I mean, first of all, this is why you don't have multiple floors, because there's nowhere else to sprint to.
Jogging
is not a thing in my house. But I can't imagine if Allison did that. Oh, I would be petrified, because there's just no one in the world who would react less.
Yeah.
And for that reaction to happen is
crazy.
I
think what scares me too is like the silence. Not like, what the fuck is that? But just like complete and utter silence of like, I'm going to lock every door before we even speak about this. Oh God. Okay. So it says, I mean, I saw something and I don't know what it was. This is not a sentence I expected to hear, not from him. It seemed like nobody was there, but I waited a long time and then suddenly someone walked away. I'm going to throw up.
I have nothing to say.
I didn't see them walk up. They weren't standing there, but I saw them leave. What the fuck? This is such a mind fuck, dude. That's why the porch light didn't go off. And that's why earlier, when she checked out the window with Piper the dog, there was nobody there because they hadn't materialized yet or whatever the fuck. I don't like it.
Ooh.
I
got some bumps on the arms. Wow.
Things are getting bumpy. Okay. Oh my God. So the way our porch is set up, there's nowhere to stand that isn't seen via the peephole. If you were truly desperate, you could press yourself up against the door itself like full body press, and maybe we wouldn't see you. But this person, ? Walked out of the frame like nothing happened. Well, that's not great, I managed. At least there was only one of them. No such luck. Mistake number 4 had just been made.
Just stop talking. Like, you're just manifesting the worst of everything.
Says M, who earlier we already said we would be like, what was it? What did you see? Show me. Why are you running up the stairs? I want to see. I mean, we would have been such a fucking maybe just me. So, okay, at least there's only one of them. Mistake number 4 had just been made. He tells me no, that the first person walked out onto the sidewalk where a younger kid was walking. Remember, this is 3:33 in the morning also. I'm going to throw up. Okay. Where a younger kid was walking, met up with each other in perfect sync without either kid having to speed up or slow down to meet the other one, and then they straight up disappeared. The way he said it to me was this: they like ran right into each other and I lost them like they weren't visible anymore. I asked what they looked like. Keep in mind, he had no knowledge of black-eyed kids and still doesn't. Well, I beg to differ. I think he actively has more knowledge than most of us about black-eyed kids, but we won't tell him that. According to him, they were teenagers, one much older than the other, wearing matching jeans and hooded jackets. I feel like that's always in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Open with white or light gray t-shirts underneath. They didn't have the hoods up and they didn't have sharp bangs, but he told me for some reason he couldn't remember their faces. I didn't prompt him. He just described them calmly, got a weird look on his face like he was trying to figure something out, then told me, for some reason, I can't remember what their eyes looked like. I could describe the face, but no eyes.
No eyes. How is that worse than... I don't know, actually. Is it worse than black eyes or no eyes?
I don't know. So I went back to bed and bong ripped some sage and cried for the rest of my life. The end. Someone made me a bracelet with that. Yay. Someone made me that bracelet with all those letters. I'm going to go bong. Yeah. Hope it was as spoopy for you guys as it was for me. Thanks for everything. You all worked so hard to make this podcast amazing. Can't wait to see you guys if you come back to Charleston. Allison.
Wow. So the only thing I remember from this, though, is I'm going to go bong rip some sage. That was one of our very first little catchphrases that took over because of you.
I think Theron was the first person to say it, and then I read it in an email, and it like took off, and everyone ascribed it to me because I had read it out loud, but I never coined it. But it is in the like, and that's why you drink coloring book and everything. I love that saying. And somebody recently gave me a friendship bracelet with
all the initials.
Yeah, whatever. And I still have it on my nightstand, and every time I'm like, Jamie. It's like really long. It's such a long sentence. Wow. Okay. These are actually very scary, Em. I'm afraid.
Yeah. Also, side conversation. Mm-hmm. Never had one before. I don't know how we're going to handle this.
How will we get to the other side?
I think like, do you think black-eyed kids are always wearing jeans and a hooded jacket because that was what was in for like 30 years? Like,
maybe it's the most.
When does the style change? Like, do the black-eyed kids ever end up in like joggers or now really wide flared pants and like,
right?
You know what I mean? Like are they in neutrals now?
Are we in 70s zone? And then are they in neutrals? Do they have a core wardrobe? Some core basics? No, I wonder if like the idea that maybe they're in like 70s outfits and then soon we'll see them in like Jenko jeans and we'll be like, wait, okay, the aliens are like 40, 50 years behind us. I don't know. But it's so weird because it's like if you can manipulate time and space, then how come you can't figure out what the fuck clothes to wear? I don't know.
I know.
Okay, but my other question to you is like, what do you think is the importance, if any, or the significance of the 333, like the angel number or like the demonic number, whatever you want to call it, the 333 in the morning? I feel like, why would they ring at that exact second? Is that something that's like easier for them? Is it just like for shits and giggles to make it scarier? Like, I don't know why 333. It's so weird.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Is it just by chance?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I because I would also not put black-eyed kids in the same category as like knowing things about like the witching hour and 3 o'clock being more powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or maybe they're all connected, as Astonishing Legends always says.
So this is from Elena, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns. And the topic change, this is called The Man in My Mirror.
Oh, I thought it was going to get better. It's only getting worse.
So Elena says, hello, my spooky friends and Gemini allies. Oh my God.
Allies. Yeah, we do need a whole team on our side.
I am dyslexic, so this may be a whirlwind to read. All right, well, we'll be on that road together. That's fine.
Yeah.
I am a new listener, and Christine requested mirror stories way back when.
Mirror, give me a mirror story.
And it was a while back. And although it was a while back, I've always wanted to share this story with you. This mirror wasn't ancient or handed down generationally. My mom bought it at Marshall's. Okay, good.
It says, be yourself with a little bumblebee. And...
It has a dorm essentials frame. No.
Yeah. And the sticker, like you try to peel it off, but part of it never came off. So there's still all the sticky residue. Yeah.
You know what's funny though? Our mirror, which we didn't bring a lot of furniture with us from the last apartment to this house, um, one mirror that I got it from Marshall's, to this day, best mirror I've ever had.
I have a mirror from Marshall's too. I
Lovely.
brought it from LA over here. Yes.
And it was cheap as shit. Do you know how expensive mirrors are? And
yes,
this one
I
was
sure
like,
do.
this one was like $30. And I was like, well, this is nicer than any other mirror I've
buying
ever
a mirror
seen.
is not an easy thing to do online. So Marshall's, I feel like, is the place to do it because you can just put it in your car.
Oh, it's beautiful. Although I had to walk it home. It was very obnoxious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, long stories. Okay, so Marshall's mirror. We are very pro Marshall's here currently, unless we find out something bad about
Google
them.
it. Let's Google it first. Don't take what we say to heart, please.
I'm pro the mirror because I currently have one until further notice, and I have to get rid of my mirror. It has, so speaking of your mirror, Elena, it has a matte black swirly square rim.
Oh.
And at the time, I was 8 years old and was always in touch with spirits due to my Native American heritage on my mom's side and my dad's supernatural prone family on his side.
Wow.
So, double whammy.
Yep.
I told my mom right off the bat that someone was staring at me. Oh, hang on now. I skipped a sentence. I told my mom right off the bat that the mirror made me uncomfortable, and she told me to suck it up. And that night, I woke up at 3 a.m. and felt like someone was staring at me. I slowly turned my head to the mirror to find a middle-aged man staring at me.
No, the worst person to be staring at you, I think. I could argue.
Absolutely. You had me at man.
Yeah, if you're going to pick, like, that's not choice A for me.
He had brown buzzed hair, a clean-shaved beard, slender face, and dark, soulless eyes.
Oh, no, I was hoping at least he was grandpa or
at
Uncle
least he
Freddie
had, like,
or somebody.
green, jolly eyes or something.
Yeah, just loving tenderness. No.
Once he noticed I could see him, he grinned a crooked smile and motioned his finger to come closer.
No. Again, if you're going to ask what this man does, that is, again, the last possible thing you would want him to do.
When I tell you I'm clocking out, like, there's no way.
Why?
Like, and also, what was going on where he noticed you? Like, how was the realization made that he noticed you noticed him?
But do you think he was like, let me wake you up real quick? You know what I mean? Like, she woke up right at 3 o'clock because probably somehow they can make that happen.
I'd say this. I don't even know.
Maybe that's when the veil is thinnest, and that's why these things tend to happen.
Well, that seems to be the thing with, like, the witching hours.
Exactly.
Like, that's.
And I hadn't really put black-eyed kids in that same category, but I feel like that would make some sense too. If, like, I don't know. I probably sound so crazy, but I guess that's what we're here for.
Only to our partners.
Only to the stable ones in our lives.
Only to the people who chose us. So I think,
well, that's on them. Honestly, you're right. That's way more unhinged than actually just
Allison's
doing it.
worst feature is that she picked me.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Okay, so I quickly turned away from him. Good. And grabbed my dog for support. Good. And also, what's going on with this dog not noticing? What's going on with the dogs in these stories?
Stop blaming the dogs. They're just dogs. Leave them alone.
I waited an hour before the man finally left my mirror. An hour. Can you imagine him watching you check the fucking clock?
And then you have to keep checking to see if he's still there. Oh, God. That's
After,
sick.
like, minute 4, I'm like, I have to sprint out of this room.
I would be like, this has been 8 hours, and I can't live like this anymore.
Like, is he just staring at you for a full hour?
Is he doing
and, like,
the
smiling?
come hither the whole time?
Ugh.
Or did he change? Did he stop? You know?
I feel like that information should have not been left out of this.
I know, and that's why I wonder sometimes if we should ever do a like a listener call in, and then I'm like, we would get through like half a story in one episode because we would never stop talking about it and like asking questions.
They'd be like, I just want to tell my story. And I'd be like, well, I have 10 follow-up questions.
Yeah. And off of those branch lots of unrelated to the story questions. Oh.
I told my parents about the encounter in the morning, but they disregarded my fear, telling me it was just a bad dream. How do you have indigenous family and like supernaturally prone families, and neither of them are hearing you right now? What is going on?
Because they probably are like, I don't want to be part of that, you know?
They're probably like, yeah, I've seen him. It's your turn.
From it. Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
The man continued to come to my mirror every night.
Forget about it.
And he would Christine, he would slowly become more and more creepy.
What do you mean? How is that possible?
For example, he would write down my biggest secrets and fears in blood next to him and tap on the glass, screaming inaudible screams.
I'm so sorry. I beg your pardon. I fully beg your pardon. Okay, well, I do regret asking that question. I do regret saying, please tell me how he could possibly.
I like how that was a for example, not like the whole thing.
That's just one thing. One little side quest he took every now and then was writing my worst fears in blood on. I'm sorry, and tapping on the glass. Are you kidding me right now? This is fucking insane. Also, is his worst fear? Is your worst fear not him? Is he not just pointing at himself? Like, this would be my worst fear all of a sudden.
Just to say, c'est moi. Like in blood.
C'est moi. It's me.
Bisous, bisous, c'est moi.
Bisous, ciao, ciao.
I mean, like, can you imagine just a scary man just in blood writing fish
and
snakes?
Actually, that feels like I'd be like, oh, okay, you can stay. This is fun.
Which, like, even then, it's like, how does, like, so where are you connected mentally that he knows this about you?
But is it even a he, or is it just some, like, weird
entity
projection of something? You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's just some, like, really dark thing projecting, like,
tapping on the glass and screaming inaudible screams. So just this.
Just like, okay, it is very frightening.
While also writing death or whatever. I don't know.
It feels like we're doing
I
like
can't
Hangman.
imagine actually.
Maybe he's just trying to play Hangman, and he's like, "Why are you not playing along?"
This is, I have to be honest, the worst thing I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, this is horrible.
It got to the point where I refused to sleep in my room. Got to the point. Day one was the point.
You are way bolder and braver than I. I mean, maybe that comes from being from these families.
I will say at some point, though, this is when you get your friend who believes in ghosts to come have a sleepover with you. And then, like, because if this is happening every night, can you not, like, videotape this and, like, finally get proof, like, $1 million proof about stuff? Like, I'd at least exploit the shit out of this guy,
things like that don't usually work, though. Like, that's never worked. There's a reason.
In which case, I'd have a sleepover every night, so he wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's screaming in blood. Okay. It got to the point where I refused to sleep in my room unless my mirror was covered. My mom didn't agree to the mirror being covered until a medium told us a man watches over her daughter in her sleep because he is waiting to take over her due to her high sensitivity.
What? Okay, so then she's like, all right, fine, you can cover it.
Yeah,
like,
why is mom listening to a stranger and not her kid who's freaked the fuck out?
And why is the mirror not even gone? Like, why is it still there?
Yes. And why is mom telling you can't cover it when it's in your fucking room? I would just not tell her and cover it every night.
Well, some moms are very strict. Cough, cough, mine. And I was certainly not allowed to make bold choices like that. Or have sleepovers. Only Friday nights I was allowed to have a sleepover.
I think I think my mom, if I acted that freaked out, I think I would be like, okay, well then I'm moving in, stranger. Like, here you go. I'm your roommate now.
But she's not even as freaked out, I think, as we are. Like, it seems like she's taking this in much different stride. Maybe because she was a kid, and it's like you don't know what's normal and what's not. I don't know.
Or maybe because it was happening so often. I wonder if on like day 9 you just roll over and you just like look at them and just go, write me a new letter. What are you doing? You know?
Write me a haiku. I wonder too, like, because we hear about that term paranormal apathy, where it's like in the moment you kind of get in this haze, and like when it's over, you wake up and you kind of forget. It's like you get almost brainwashed in this way. So it could be something like that too, where you just feel trapped in like a sleep paralysis thing every night, but you can't get it out of the pattern. I don't know.
Terrifying. Well, then Elena says, even while it was covered, I still knew he was there watching.
Oh, Jesus.
The mirror stayed covered for the next 9 years. Just get rid of the mirror. Oh my God. It was from Marshall's. It wasn't even expensive. I know, you know?
Yeah, you would know.
I'll give you $30.
And
get a different mirror.
You and I both have kept our mirrors.
That's true. Mine has no bloody men in there.
Last time I checked, there wasn't a bloody man in mine either. So maybe that is the difference.
Yeah, I think you need to return yours and get a full refund, girl.
Yeah, at least.
So then Elena says, in September of 2019, all my dad's sisters came down for my sister's baby shower. And as we were exchanging ghost stories, I told my Aunt Renee about my mirror. And she immediately believed, finally, by the way.
Yeah, finally
believed me and forced my dad to help us cleanse the mirror. As we headed upstairs with sage in hand, we finally uncovered the mirror after a long 9 years, and chill instantly entered the room.
Oh, God.
They began to pray and sage the mirror, asking the spirit to leave. After they finished, I instantly felt sick and knew there was something wrong.
No.
The spirit had not left the mirror.
No, of course not. It's just been getting more pissed off over the years.
My aunt and father could tell I was sick and decided to move the mirror to the basement and continue the cleansing. We held the sage under an open. Oh, this is important. Apparently, we held the sage.
Okay.
Oh, it says important.
Oh.
We held the sage under an open flame for 5 minutes to ensure that it would stay lit during the cleansing.
Okay.
And as we walked down the stairs, my dad holding the mirror and my aunt holding the sage went out as if someone placed their hand over it. We played this game of chicken for 20 minutes as my aunt cussed out the demon.
Whoa.
And after the sage relit successfully, we placed the mirror in the basement. I stood far away from it and watched anxiously, pulsing my hands. After I realized the man has no control over me, I stopped pulsing my hand, and instantly the lights in the basement started flickering at the same rate my hands were pulsing.
Oh my God.
I looked over to the mirror and could see a small glimpse of the man darting back and forth.
Ugh.
I instructed my aunt where to sage, and we knew he had finished once the lights stopped flickering. We covered the mirror and headed back up the stairs to my Aunt Colette, ushering us outside because they had seen a man rocking in one of the patio chairs.
No. I do remember this story.
After I stood outside, I felt a hand on my neck and instantly felt sick again. We contacted my aunt's medium and said we improperly cleansed the mirror, which allowed the spirit to be free.
No. Oh my God. No.
So now the demon that was stuck in a mirror can now follow me wherever I go. And I'm, excusez-moi, but apparently that's the end of the fucking story.
I'm sure we got mad about that.
Yes.
And I'm now mad all over again that we didn't get an update.
I may have to write in again to tell you about my guardian angel. Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, well, apparently, this is where I tell you, Eva wrote back to every single submission today, or like wrote to every author of these stories and asked if there were any updates. We only have one update out of all of the 12 stories.
It's not
this is
one,
not
though.
one of them.
Which,
yeah,
like,
this is not it.
So now you've got a demon running around since when did we do this story? This was in 2021. For the last 4 years, you've had something running around with you.
I'm scared. Are you okay?
Are you okay? Do you listen anymore? Is your guardian angel you want to tell us about is probably just like
Eva said a lot of people
for 4 years.
Eva said a lot of people responded and just said like, no change. Everything's hunky dory. Just same old. Keep it on.
Everyone do a shot for Elena today because that girl needs it. Oh my God. Anyway, that's the end of that.
Wow. Okay. Well, I have another plot twist here. This is called Time Travel. It has 3 question marks and it says, help, please.
Oh no. Okay. I hope we helped.
Apparently, I'm sure we didn't. This was from December of 2023. Lily She/Her sent this in. Alrighty, motherfuckers. Oh, wow.
Okay. Sounds like you don't need help.
Wow.
You're fine. You can take care of it yourself.
Sounds like you can take care of yourself. Yeah. Alrighty, motherfuckers. Settle in. It's going to be a doozy. Love you guys. Love the podcast. Okay. So I live in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. In Hobart, there is a massive river that runs straight down the middle of the city, connecting the suburbs on either side is the Tasman Bridge. So my story starts when I was a kid, like 10 or 11 years old, and my class, I remember this one, and my class went on a little excursion to walk across the bridge. Yay, what fun for a grade 5 kid. Anyways, when we walked across the bridge, we would signal to all the cars that drove past to beep their horns. I remember very clearly that no cars were falling for our meticulous manipulation to get people to honk to entertain a group of 11-year-olds, except for one. It was a beat-up white Toyota, and I remember feeling very excited because the same car had J, L, and O in the number plate, and that meant I could sing Jenny from the Block obnoxiously loud for the rest of the day. Okay, so fast forward to a few days ago. Okay, wow. So a few days ago. So we went back
like now?
like 20 years. Well, 2023. So
but
fast forward, but the original email says fast forward to a few days ago. And I'm on my drive to work, going over the bridge, and I see a group of kids wearing my old school uniform on an excursion walking across the bridge.
I remember.
So I beeped my horn at them. Then it hit me. I drive an old white beat-up Toyota with J, L, and O on the number plate. I quickly had a look in my rearview mirror, and I shit you not, a little Lily was walking along, all happy that someone beeped, and probably singing Jenny from the Block. I have no way of explaining it or rationalizing it, so if you have any idea, let me know.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That one's a wild one. Wow, Lily. Jesus, that's crazy. So you're like, I didn't even hit you that you had J-Lo in your license plate.
Glitch in the Matrix.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
That's so cool.
And I love that you went to like make yourself happy, you know?
Yeah.
Just give yourself like a little boost.
Thank you for that palate cleanser, by the way, Eva, because wow, I was really not enjoying some of these stories.
I was fully enjoying them, which is how sick I am.
I was terrified. I remember that one. That was a great one. The J-Lo
That's
story.
a good one, man. J-Lo.
This next one is from Jamie, and I feel like I should remember this from the title alone, but it says, "A deer stole my soul." So let's see where that takes us.
Yeah, I'm not getting the reaction I should be if I remember this from any past experience.
Well, it's from 2018, so this is
so it's probably an
early.
oldie.
So Jamie doesn't even tell us their pronouns yet. I don't even think we were doing pronouns yet.
No.
So Jamie says...
We weren't doing pronouns. It just we weren't doing them. Thing.
They don't really exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yuck. Yeah. I don't do that mess. Okay. Jamie says, "Hi, Emma, Christina, and little baby Gio. Before I get started, I just want to say that I love you all so much." Very sweet. "I've been trying to get caught up with episodes. You're very spooky. Your podcast keeps me awake for my whole drive when I drive from Montana to Colorado. And I'm lactose intolerant and I can't drink because of medication. So Team Geo."
Hey. Oh, that's nice. Oh, and by the way, "A deer stole my soul." Apparently, this was also Eva's staff pick. So she had everyone kind of pick their favorites. And so, just side note, I'm even more disturbed I don't remember this because apparently Eva remembers it. But anyway, sorry, maybe it was like the dawn of her job with us, and that's why she remembers it. That's what I'll tell myself.
Maybe.
But
Sure.
Anyway, sorry. So just side note, this is Eva's staff pick. Fun fact.
Ooh. You know what we should do on the website? We should have like a staff pick for each like episodes and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were talking about that because Megan said something. Megan had a great idea as usual and was like, "Hey, we should put like little bios and have the whole team." And I think that's a really good idea to have like their favorite topic or
like suggested episodes.
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever.
Really cute. I think Megan's been working on some sort of bio page for the team.
Love
of
Megan.
course, she's
Okay.
one step ahead of the game.
I know. All right, here we go. This is the story of the time me and my roommate probably met some sort of winter spirit and got hucked into another dimension for a month.
What?
Damn.
Wow.
That sounds like a busy
I certainly don't remember this. I really thought maybe it would click.
During the winter in Montana where I live, it gets really, really dark and depressing. The sun goes down super early and it gets so fucking cold, you would not believe it. This, coupled with the stress of school, used to make my roommate and I so stressed out that we would take long drives out into rural areas near our apartment to cathartically scream where no one would hear us. I fucking love that. My school used to have a group scream during finals and it was lovely.
That's so cathartic.
So one night during an unusually dark and cold spring, we were driving around doing this on the outskirts of town, and when we found a place we thought would be far enough away from people, I pulled over. As we stopped, the headlights of my car caught a pair of glowing eyes. About 10 feet in front of us was a deer. I've seen a lot of deer before. I know how they act and how they do the deer in the headlights thing when they stop and look at you and can't move or whatever, but this felt different. This thing felt otherworldly.
Uh-oh.
This really raw energy and emotion washed over me, and I teared up instantly, and I'm crying now just thinking about seeing it. It started walking towards us confidently. Confidently? Can a deer be confident? I don't know. Its eyes were haunting and terrible.
Oh.
My roommate and I looked at each other, and we were both so freaked out. I'm not sure we said anything to each other, but we got the fuck out of there. We were both crying, and one other thing that strikes me when thinking about that deer was that it had really large antlers, which was unusual because it was late February, early April, and they usually drop their antlers before then.
Mm-hmm.
I really cannot convey how unearthly this animal felt. I will remember how it felt when it looked at me for the rest of my life.
Wow.
So anyway, my roommate and I are rattled but still ready to scream. So we keep driving. Still, I'm always ready to scream.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're probably now double ready to scream.
Still on the outskirts of town, we're driving down a country road and we see this weird little shack with a glowing Coke vending machine on the side of the road. We're surprised because it felt like that machine really shouldn't have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, like an uncanny thing. But hey, we're thirsty from the screaming, so we stop to get a drink. I hop out of the car and find that the cans only cost $0.25, which is weird, but I bought one and we keep driving. ugh. I drive us out on a road that only goes one way. It has no turnoffs. My roommate and I don't see any turns at all as we're driving down this road. To reiterate, this is a straight road with no opportunities to turn off of it.
Okay.
So we find a spot, do some stress relieving screaming, and get back in the car. We turn the car around, and not a quarter mile down the road, there's an intersection. We have to choose either right or left.
What?
Which, if you remember, is a little bit different than how the road we drove there on was.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually have an excellent sense of direction, so I was really freaked out. I turned left and the road started curving. We probably drove on it for a good 10 minutes until we got to an intersection with stoplights. Civilization, thank God. It turned out we were about 20 miles out of town in a direction we hadn't even been driving, which made absolutely no sense considering we had originally been going. We got home very rattled and went to bed, you know the drill, but I shit you not, for a whole month after that, everything just felt really off. I can't describe it. I just felt persistently uncomfortable and wrong the whole time.
Oh,
it was
gosh.
unsettling. It only stopped when we went on another nighttime cathartic screaming trip.
No
we were
way.
outside of town again when I saw something on the road, slammed on the brakes, and it was the fucking deer.
I thought it was a vending machine. I was like, yes, quarter Sprite.
Honestly, I would have tried to I know this was 2018, so they didn't have probably this technology. I would have dropped a pin on that quarter can of Coke. I would have dropped like a
Oh yeah,
like
for
a
yourself.
geopin.
I thought you meant like on Yelp, and I was like, no, don't
No.
share it. Yeah,
I would have
for
dropped
yourself,
a pin,
yeah.
so I always knew where to get the
Under
cheapest
like
Coke in town.
favorites, and I would have written home. And
Yeah,
or work.
I would have written, "Oh dear." Yeah.
Deer.
Confidence and big antlers and horrible glowing eyes and
Same
all.
fucking deer. Oh my God.
This deer looked at us and we felt the same rush of emotion and energy as the first night.
And by
then
the way,
it
it's
left.
a month later, and
Yeah.
this deer still has the antlers. Just side note. Yeah.
It just walked right into the trees on the side of the road and we immediately lost sight of it. But after that, the uncomfortable feeling pretty much resolved itself. So to the best that we can make it, we entered another dimension for about a month. The deer was some sort of winter spirit thing, and though seeing it was scary, it didn't feel particularly malevolent. Maybe it was giving us a warning about where we were going to go.
Oh.
Maybe it was guiding us in and out of other dimensions. I don't know. But either way, a few weeks after we got back, I found a wire deer sculpture near the dumpster of my apartment and saved it. We keep it in our living room now, and it's nice to have a reminder of that time, but I'm honestly too freaked out to also get rid of it. My roommate and I can't do cathartic nighttime screaming trips anymore, and I drove past the shack recently and the Coke machine is gone, but now there's a Pepsi machine, so what does that mean?
Oh, don't
Management change.
Do not put a quarter in there. You never know where you'll end up. I don't think it's going to go well.
Oh, man. Anyway, sorry. Spooky winter shit. Appreciate you guys so much. Wow. So,
damn.
Yeah, I don't know. That's,
I don't think we give winter enough credit for being scary. And I know they do in other countries, but I feel like on, the tradition of reading ghost stories on Christmas. But I feel like, yeah, there's something so chilling about like being in the woods and an animal like looks at you and you have I don't know. It just all feels very like dead and creepy.
Well, so what I will say is that this is the story that has an update.
Eva's story has an update. Yay.
No wonder it's Eva's pick.
Eva's
it's
pick.
the one that had an update. So Eva reached out and asked, is there anything else you'd like to say after all these years about this deer? Mm-hmm. And Jamie
when was the
back,
original? 2018, you said?
2018, yeah.
Wow, so this is 2025. I like forgot what year it was that we're writing back. Okay.
After all this time, which by the way, I love that Elena still listens. That's wonderful.
Well, does she? Or is she just responding to the email?
I love that Elena responds to emails.
Doesn't hate us enough to ignore our emails.
Yeah. Elena says, Eva, holy shit, I must tell you, my jaw simply hit the floor when I saw this email. I'm very touched that you thought of me. I hope you're doing well, and I'm wishing you and everyone on the And That's Why I Drink team the best. I guess my addendum is that this experience was a true oddity in my life. The degree of unreality that pervaded the whole thing has haunted me ever since.
Ooh, this is the kind of feedback we need, folks. I love it.
And with such flowery writing, too.
Beautiful. Because
of this whole thing, I've kind of made a joke out of asking my friends, have you seen any omens or prophecies lately?
Honestly,
it's a question.
What a great question, though. Like,
it's a question that's silly in tone, but I do think the way we interpret odd experiences can be pretty insightful. I think some people use tarot and astrology to process or interpret things in a similar way. A cheeky example, I'm trans. Oh, okay. So yay for not using pronouns in the last one.
Yeah, now you're not allowed to bully anyone for not using them, ma'am.
Well, now we don't know if, it kept us in the air. So congratulations.
Wow,
now you're still a
exciting.
mystery. A cheeky example, I'm trans. I had top surgery a few months ago, and like 15 minutes before I left for surgery, my cat caught a mouse that my wife and I had to wrangle and release. When we got the mouse unharmed outside, there was this beautiful moment where it gracefully leaped into the nice autumn foliage of our backyard. I've held the image of it suspended in its leap to freedom, very close during recovery.
I feel like crying.
I feel like there's symbolism in all kinds of things, and may we all leap to freedom. Oh my God.
Okay. Here's what I'll say. That's beautiful. Wait, it's not over.
But anyway, that's not the deer thing. That just felt real, direct, and freaky as fuck. I'm kind of at a loss as far as interpretation goes. I'm very pleased that I haven't had any similar experiences since. The visceral reaction I have thinking about this remains, though, and it still makes me cry. Wow. Hope this is
beautiful.
Hope this is what you were looking for. I'm honored that my freak ass experience 7 years ago haunted you too. All the best, Jamie. Wow.
Oh my Lord. Wow, Jamie, right? Is that what you said?
Jamie, yep.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. First of all, I will say I think Eva picked the story before the update. So I want to at least give her credit for that. But also that's exactly how I feel now looking back at a lot of my life of like, wow, it's just about how we perceive it. That's what
wow.
Like you look at a deer and you're like, it's either just a deer or like it means something. I don't know. It just feels like that was so profound and you can't really explain it in a.
Well, also with Jamie being so profound too, it's like, well, maybe of all people you were meant to have this experience because you would appreciate it.
Maybe
compared
you
to
were
other people.
exactly. Maybe you were the one who read it a certain way or like perceived it a certain way, and that was just how it was meant to be. That's powerful. That's beautiful, and I love that message also. So thank you for the update, and also thank you everyone else. I don't mean to. I don't respond to my emails within 6 months, so I don't know why I expected anybody to respond within like a day, which is probably how much we gave you.
Honestly, Jamie's the real MVP for even responding to emails.
Yeah, and with such like interesting info. But I think that is pretty creepy. So I'm not gonna. I like to think I'll actually remember these now.
Yeah,
I don't know, at least 2 times hearing them.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Whew.
All right, it's your turn.
Okay. So Skims has this new Fits Everybody collection, and they suggested, why don't you show the product on camera? And I was like, oh, sure, except it's on my ass right now, and I don't think that's appropriate. I am wearing them, and I promise I am. I can prove it, but I don't think Em wants me to. And I gotta say, the Fits Everybody collection, it's where it's at. Okay, I'm very picky about my underwear. I was like, let's see if this is the real deal. It's awesome. And the Fits Everybody collection is available in sizes XXS to 4X. You can shop now at skims.com and Skims stores.
My mother is obsessed with Skims, the Fits Everybody collection. I think it was all she wore when I was home for an entire month. So thanks, Mom, for that visual. And and Allison also loves Skims. Everybody in my world.
Really fucking comfortable.
Never met a person who said Skims. Yuck. Never heard that.
Yeah.
So if you're like my mom or Allison, then this is how you can get your own Skims. After you place your order, be sure to let them know that we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select our show in the drop-down menu that follows.
And if you're looking for the perfect gift for your Valentine or for yourself, Skims just launched their best Valentine's shop ever, available in sizes for women, men, and kids. So I feel like life insurance gets brought up a lot of times in my stories, but it's something I actually did not know much about until recently when I started like looking into it for my own family. And it's very illuminating. I feel like it's hard to navigate those waters without some help. And that's why we're really excited to be working with SelectQuote today.
SelectQuote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985.
Billion with a B. Ba, ba, ba. That's amazing. Other life insurance brokers offer impersonal, one-size-fits-all policies that may cost you more and cover you less, while SelectQuote can help find the right policy for you. That's awesome.
Yeah. And have you been concerned about the cost of life
I
insurance?
have. Thank you so much for asking.
It is more affordable than you think with SelectQuote, with some policies costing less than $1 a day.
Damn. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/drink. Go to selectquote.com/drink today to get started.
That's selectquote.com/drink.
So this next email is from Alex, she, her, and it is called Kids Are Scary. And it came in on June 4th, my birthday. I think this was, of the year Leona was born. That was when I was pregnant and we were talking about like, Christine's having a baby. We want scary parenting or kid stories. I do vaguely remember that. Hello, Christine. I said my own name wrong. It was so embarrassing. Oh, no.
Oh, man. I hope you lose sleep over that.
5 minutes ago, I was trying to be so profound and deep like Jamie was, and then I said my own name wrong. Okay.
Dummy.
Hello, Christine, M, Eva, and crew. My name is Alex, she, her, and I am a mom of 2 wine-loving... Wait. Oh... I thought it said I am a mom of 2 wine-loving like
children
or something. And I was like, okay, you live in Paris, maybe? I don't know. Okay, sorry. Let me put the comma in there where it already is. I just didn't read it. My name is Alex, and I am a mom of 2, wine-loving (parentheses soon to be forensic psychologist), and I look forward to your podcast every week. I have considered writing this story into you several times, but always hesitate because of how long it is. But now that Christine is expecting a little bebe of her own, I feel like it is the perfect time to share, as this has to do with my firstborn daughter. And knowing your all's link to the paranormal, I have a sneaking suspicion that Christine's new baby will say or do some goose cam-worthy things as well.
Absolutely.
I can't wait. It's happened only once or twice, but...
I don't know. Remember when she thought the ceiling was hilarious? I'm still convinced there was just beings crawling all over your ceiling.
Ew, I forgot about the ceiling. Stop it. Ew. Let's start with a little background to my family history. I grew up close with my mom's side of the family and was lucky enough to have my great-grandmother in my life until I was 18 years old. All my life, we would go and visit her, and she had quite the fantastical stories to share with me. It was rumored that her mother, my great-great-grandmother, was considered a witch in her small town growing up. Wow, great-great-grandmother.
That's cool.
That is really cool to even know that. My great-grandmother seemed to inherit some abilities as well. She lived in an apartment on the 11th floor and swore she saw her oldest son come to visit her one afternoon years ago. He told her goodbye and then walked out of the window, again 11 stories up in the air. Later that day, she received a phone call letting her know that her son had passed. Oh, gosh. She also had a dream of her sister laying in a casket and woke the next day to find out her sister had passed. There were many other stories, but those 2 always stuck with me the most. My grandmother would also tell me stories of seeing shadow people at the foot of her bed all the time as a little girl.
Oh my, that's a no for me, dog.
My daughter came home and was like, great-grandma told me there's shadow beings at the foot of her bed every night. I'm like, great-grandma,
that's just not possible for me, actually.
So sorry. We're actually we're not seeing great-grandma anymore. She's cutting her out.
She's gone.
She's not part of the family anymore. Oh my gosh. Okay. Then there was my mother, who had claimed to see reflections of people who were not actually there in mirrors on several occasions.
No.
As for myself, I would get gut feelings about things, but nothing as extreme as the rest of the women in my family tree until I became pregnant with my first daughter. Aha. I hope that would happen to me, but it kind of didn't. So.
I'm sure I said this the first time I read it, but one of my, I think, because I watched Charm growing up, and one of my favorite seasons was when Piper was pregnant and her powers were just all over the goddamn place because now she had a magical baby also developing his powers in her womb.
So you get erratic almost.
Yeah. And so she would try, her thing was always freezing time or blowing things up with her hands, but the baby wouldn't let her blow things up. And she used to explode demons, but now it would just be she would do the hand signal and flowers would show up and she'd be like, damn it, there's a demon coming, help me.
It's like your hormones messing with you, but it's your magic powers. Oh my God.
Totally.
Yeah, that didn't happen when I got pregnant.
Damn, I really wanted that for you.
I know, I did too. I'm sure I bitched about it the entire pregnancy, probably more than anything else.
The one good thing that comes out of that.
I know, right? I was like, at least I'll have some cool dreams. Nope. Anyway, okay, so let's see. Until I became pregnant with my first daughter. Fast forward to 2013. I was about 3 months pregnant, and my husband and I had moved into our new home in Kentucky. It was a split-level house, and on the upper level was the baby's nursery. It was midday and the sun was shining bright as I was upstairs painting the new nursery. A cute mint green with a white stripe accent wall. Thank you. This is the info I like
Aw.
to have. That's adorable.
I also want to know that.
All of a sudden, the doorbell started to. Okay, so these we have mirrors already.
Time travel.
Doorbells.
Glitch in the Matrix.
Glitch. But I mean, in this story alone, we already have doorbell. We have reflections in the mirror. We have shadow people. We have. I mean, okay, wow. It just doesn't stop.
Gut feelings.
Gut feeling. All of a sudden, the doorbell started to ring over and over and over again. I set my brush down and went to answer the door, wondering why someone would be ringing the doorbell so aggressively. I pulled the door open, and mid-ring, it stopped. No one was at the door. I played it off as maybe a wiring issue with the doorbell, but I had that gut feeling that something was very wrong and that someone was watching me as I opened that door. After this, all was quiet and seemingly normal. My baby Stella was born in December of that year. She was a happy, smart, loving baby, and we enjoyed our new family and home so much. Fast forward again to when she was around 1.5 years old. She was an early talker and could communicate very well. She nightly would walk to the front of the house and look out the windows to point and say, "Ghosty man outside." Oh
no,
God.
thanks.
Now, I love a good horror movie, occasionally would indulge in some Ghost Adventures episodes, but I was shocked still that she knew the word ghosty, as I normally would wait to watch those types of things until after she was in bed.
Yeah.
Also, Zach Bagans doesn't say ghosty, just saying.
Certainly
He's
not.
too tough for that.
Yeah, certainly.
Let's see. It sent chills down my spine every time she would do it. I would look out the window and no one would be out there. We kept assuring her nothing was out there, but she would get more adamant and more descriptive as time went on. She started patting her head and saying, "Ghosty man hat," as if someone out there was wearing a hat. She would say, "Ghosty man eat apples." With ketchup.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, but still, if you're seeing something clear enough to know that it's eating an apple, that thing is in 4K in your kitchen.
It's right. It's putting on a show for you there. She would say, "Ghosty man, eat apples." We had apple, pear, and cherry trees in our front yard. At this point, she was close to 2 and could walk very well. I had gone out front to check the mailbox, and she came following behind me. As I was about halfway down the driveway, she started screaming, "Oh, God. Run, mommy, run. Ghosty man, get you." Oh, my God. 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 Oh, my God.
Put the whole kid away. Absolutely not.
Oh, my God. Put the kid in the mailbox. Bye-bye. Put the flag up. Somebody take him. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay. Forget it. Okay. Run, mommy, run. Ghosty man, get you. Oh, my God. I turned around to assure her I was fine and then watched as she got what I can only describe as shoved down. Oh gosh, this is horrible. I
remember this now.
I do too. Suddenly, all flashback. I saw her little back arch forward as if something had pushed her right in the center of her back. I ran and picked her up and said, "F the mail," and rushed back inside, locking the door. Then came the awful day. I was changing her in her room, and she started thrashing around, screaming and crying. And she said, clear as day, "Ghosty man inside me," and pointed to her chest. What the fuck?
I got nothing. And also, I know you can wing a lot of stuff when you're a first-time parent. What do you do? What do you do?
Okay, that's literally what it says. It says, again, that gut feeling came rushing that this was more than I understood and more than I could help her with. Which is that must be so helpless and scary. You want to help your baby, and it's you just don't know what to do.
Inside me.
Okay, wow. I don't know what I would do. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I would just cry. That's all you can do.
Yeah. I wonder if I would just say, get out. I don't know. I don't know what would work. I don't know.
Yeah.
At this point, everything had been outside, and I started to piece things together that maybe the doorbell incident when I was pregnant and had just moved in was this ghosty man trying to get inside. It was inside now and letting itself known to all of us. So, you almost accidentally invited it in by opening the door. Right. Oh God, that's probably horrible.
This is so
no good.
I feel it could smell new life coming, or a new soul or something, new energy.
Well, and think about again, the veil is thinner. You're painting your nursery. You're inviting new life. You're connected to the spirit world somehow more than usual. Yeah, that's so sick. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. At this point, nothing was quiet again. Literally. So this was basically the moment she pieced it together almost. Like the moment she
Mhm.
realized, oh, I think I invited him in when I was pregnant. And the minute it clicked, it says at this point, nothing was quiet again, literally. Chairs scooting across the floor, cabinets opening and closing. I have full body chills right now. Cabinets opening and closing, toys in the playroom going off, what sounded like a whip cracking at the foot of my bed in the middle
Oh
of the
my
night.
God.
What the fuck? Experiencing night terrors, hearing a man's voice occasionally in the kitchen. There was one night my husband came home early from work and I was in the kitchen with my back to the stairs. My husband said, "Who do you have here?" I just
Hmm?
saw a man run up the stairs. He
I j
really
oh my God.
thought I was hiding a secret lover.
I'd be like, "Actually, it's worse."
Yeah, I wish. I wish I were having an affair. Oh my God. Okay. Who do you have here? I thought it was like, who do you have here? But I think it was more like,
That's
who
what I
do you
thought too.
have here? I just
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
a
yeah.
man run up the stairs. He really thought I was hiding a secret lover or something. Haha. He checked the whole house and no one was there. Oh God. I mean, to see someone run up the stairs and then they're still in your house, forget it.
And also, like, that just truly confirms it all of like,
Yes. If
okay, so now it's showing itself in different ways, or it's
to,
getting stronger,
and the
or it's
husband
less
sees it
scared.
and thinks it's a real person, like
Ooh.
yeah, yuck. I was really terrified for my daughter, but felt powerless. And despite my husband experiencing these things as well, he denied the possibility of something paranormal. Really? After all that? Whatever. I
Yeah.
felt alone and scared to bits for my kid. When she was around 3.5, I was pregnant again with our second daughter. We decided to move to a different town, and I was so looking forward to escaping our current house. That's sad. Thinking that a new house would rid us of this bad energy / ghosty man. I was wrong.
Which followed you. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
fucking God.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know what I would do
This
at
is
that
my
point. I would
nightmare. I
have a
mean,
fucking meltdown.
this is my nightmare. It's probably all of our nightmare. We moved into our new home, and almost immediately, I started catching Stella in corners of the house having full conversations with nothing. This is a 3.5-year-old. That's how old Leona is. And if
Mm-mm.
she does not do this. So because I always wonder when people are like, well, that's just kids. It's like, no,
Right, right.
it's not always just kids. Like,
Like, is this just a developmental thing?
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, I mean, it could be like if they have an imaginary friend, but if they really see somebody, you should believe them. It wasn't normal play type conversations either, like when kids play with dolls and voice both roles of the conversation. It was her pausing, then responding, then pausing, then responding. I kept asking her about it, and she would say that she was, quote, talking to her dead brother Daniel.
What?
Parentheses. She had no dead brother named Daniel.
Uh-huh.
Or there was one time she had set a chair facing a dark corner, and when I questioned her, she said she was playing hide and seek with them and that they like the dark.
Oh my fucking God. Oh my God.
And then she writes, literally living in a horror movie.
Yeah, that's exactly call Blumhouse.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, don't back down. You could probably get good money out of those people for this story.
Oh my
There's
God.
an entire franchise here, I think. Okay. This kept going and going. She started to get irritable when I would ask her about it, and her conversations seemed to get more and more hostile. I would hear her scream to them, "No, I said I don't want to do that." Oh my God. This is so scary.
Which, like, okay, setting boundaries, but also what the
You
hell are they
shouldn't
asking her
have
to
to be.
do? Like,
Exactly. You shouldn't have to be in your own house.
oh
Ugh.
my God.
Especially not repeatedly.
Yeah.
And then, like, you feel like your kid's not safe or they don't feel safe. I mean, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
Now, my second child was born, and I was in the family room one night breastfeeding her at like 1 a.m. All of a sudden, the entire house shook, and I heard a thud from Stella's room. Oh, okay. Nightmare.
Oh shit.
Nightmare. I ran back to see what the hell was happening. She
Pushed
was,
her out of bed.
yes,
Mhm.
she was on the floor bawling and said that they had pushed her out of bed.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, this is horrible, Em. At this point, I snapped. I have 2 babies to protect. Right, 1 a.m. with a breastfeeding mother. Like, forget it. Nice try, ghost.
And also, you're
idiots.
like, am I actually losing my mind? Like, did this
Yeah,
happen, or am I just tired? Like,
that
what
must be like
happened?
such a mind fuck.
Yeah.
At this point, I snapped. I have 2 babies to protect, and I felt like I was failing. If these things can physically hurt them, I had to intervene. I got online and started researching every ghost/paranormal group close to me. I reached out to several and got a response back from one. I believe it was the Paranormal Investigators of Central Kentucky. PIC.
Mm-hmm.
I received a phone call from their medium. Her name was Crystal. We spoke for a bit on the phone, and she said something that shook me to the core. She said, "Your daughter is a very strong empath, and she has been protecting your family this entire time.
Mm.
This all stems from your grandmother's side." I almost pooped myself.
Uh-huh.
Yes, she asked to come to my home to cleanse it in the name of God, even if I was not a believer, and asked to be able to speak to my daughter. I agreed, anything to help. Well, my husband found out and called me crazy for agreeing to let a stranger come in the home. I had to call Crystal back and cancel our meeting. She laughed when I called and said, "No worries, those malicious spirits already know that you have reached out and almost had them banished. They will be quiet for a while, so you will let them stay. Just know that while it may be quiet, it will come back worse."
Ah.
And then it says, "Ah!" So,
Okay.
yeah, good job. Sure enough, though, after that call, things did quiet down. A few months later, I was home one night alone, no husband, no kids. I was sitting on my back porch and I heard Stella scream, "Mommy!" I went to run inside, but realized she wasn't even home.
The mimicking has to go. Simply has to go. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is my staff pick, by the way.
Okay. See, I already, yeah, okay, wow, okay. So, and it's like, okay, listen, as somebody.
Does it end? Like,
As somebody, I know, no, I guess not. And I'm hoping this gets a response at some point too. God, like an update, I mean. Okay, so I run into my house, I realize she's not even home. Whatever's in our house was mimicking her. A month or so after that, my husband was home by himself. Yeah, this is what we need more of. He invited our neighbor over to watch football. Our neighbor heard Stella scream from her bedroom, "Daddy!" But Stella wasn't home then either. So this is horrible. This thing is not even just mimicking. It's like intentionally changing what it says for like the audience.
Oh my god, you're right. And doing it in a way that knows we'll get a reason. Like, it's doing it to terrify you.
But not from the dad, which is so weird. He still can't hear it. Just his friend heard it.
Oh.
So I wonder if it's that thing you always see where the dad just grows more and more detached from the family because they don't believe it or whatever, and it like almost drives that wedge. Anyway, maybe I'm reading into it. I'm sure I said this like whenever we got this 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Anyway, wow. So it changed to daddy now from her room, which is awful because it means it's all coming from her room still.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband didn't hear it, only our neighbor. Spooked him 2 bits. And once, I mean, if I were the neighbor, I'd be like, "Show me her room."
Yeah.
Like, I want to make sure she's not actually here. That's so scary.
Yeah.
And once he told me about it, I was extra freaked because it was almost identical to my experience, aside from that there has been nothing. I'm waiting for the moment they decide to rear their ugly face again and to mess with my babies. I also worry for my oldest and the responsibility she must be feeling to help keep these spirits at bay and to protect us. She is 7 now, and if you ask her about any of it, she gets a strange, glossed over look in her eyes and will act like she has no idea what you are talking about. If I ever had any doubts in the existence of the paranormal before, those are long gone. There is much more out there than we know and can control. Sorry this was so long, but it is our story and something we cannot share openly with a lot of people without judgment. Christine, best of luck with your little one. Just pay close attention if they start talking to your cursed church stairs or estate sale couch.
Oh my
Kids
God.
are scary sometimes, especially when they see and talk to ghosty people. Love you all so much and wishing you all the best. Alex.
Please, God, I hope they listen still, and we need an update. I gotta know that family's safe.
Yeah, the email says, "Hi, Alex, Eva here. We're doing a retrospective, love that word, of all of our favorite, scariest listener stories. Yours is one of them. Do you have any updates or additions?" And nothing yet, so maybe someday.
What a shame.
But I hope all is okay.
Yeah,
at
I hope
least,
you're okay. Man, wow.
That's a doozy. That I started to remember it in bits and pieces.
I remember the kid falling out of
Yes,
bed.
the pushing out of the
And the pushing.
pushing on this driveway.
Yeah.
And then the bed. Yeah. Ugh.
Okay.
Poor
well,
baby.
Unfortunately, there's more stories. So here's this is from Jennifer. This was back in 2017, so pronouns didn't exist yet. So
back a better time, a simpler time, you know.
A simpler time, yeah. So this one is called Growing Up with Gettysburg Ghosts. Love that.
Perfect for you.
Jennifer says, "Hi guys, I am a total fan of all things paranormal, true crime, and wine, and your podcast is something my dreams are made of. I've been listening for a few months now, which LOL in 2017, it only existed for a few months, our podcast.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. For a few months. So you just found, I mean, this is a time capsule indeed.
Truly. And figured it was about time to share my own story. I grew up in a town 4 miles south of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The house we lived in was built in the late 1850s as the parsonage to the super old church across the street where my dad was the pastor.
Oh my Lord. Okay. Literally, I guess.
Yeah. And at the time, in the mid 90s, our family was just my mom, my dad, me, and my younger sister. So I was 8 or so, and some stuff went down. I was sleeping pretty soundly when something woke me up. I realized my closet door was open, which is something I don't allow to this day because my closet is always so messy. So I sat up to turn on a light and see what was going on.
It's like, I'm sorry, I know I keep interrupting, but like,
you good?
When it's something so simple and it like doesn't, like it translates if you think like,
it starts so subtly.
Yeah, and if your closet's always closed and you wake up, that's like alarming to you, even if somebody else might be like, oh, oops, I left the closet open. Anyway, sorry, I'm already freaked out. That's all.
Well, it gets worse because, so she looks in the closet. I see this guy peek out and step out from the closet.
Vomitous, indeed. The most vomitous.
He was all
is this
gray.
The soldier? I remember this. I remember fucking this. Oh no, this is horrible. This story scared the shit out of me when we first read it. I remember
Christine's staff pick,
I must have picked it by mistake. Help! Maybe Megan did it to punish me.
I love when you go help,
help, and nobody ever comes.
He was all gray. All of him was gray. I don't see color though, so I wouldn't really know. But according to Jennifer,
you don't see. Oh, I thought you meant like you're colorblind. I was like, dude, what is this?
Well, I am. If you think about it, we're all colorblind. We should be.
Okay, Michael Scott.
Okay, he was all gray. He had a funny looking mustache and was wearing some weird ass clothes with these big buttons.
Oof.
Dumbfounded, I watched this guy move his head from side to side.
Oh, what? Like he's like trying it for the first time? Oh, that's what I picture.
Then he slowly walked back into my closet and closed the door.
It's like, is that better or worse? I don't know.
It's like both of you had social anxiety.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, wrong room. I don't know.
Well, I wonder because she said that she was 8. I'm sorry, I'm assuming she, her pronouns. But Jennifer said they were 8. So maybe this guy did see an 8-year-old and went, oh shit, like maybe you weren't, I don't want to scare you. That's the hope.
Yeah, I wonder, right? Like maybe if they see each other, you know, it's like, oh, it's one of those creepy, like something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I, being an 8-year-old girl, began screaming at the absolute top of my lungs until my parents came running. Ugh. I tried to explain what I saw, but my parents were adamant that I just had a bad dream and needed a drink of water before going back to sleep. A drink of water so I can piss my pants? No thanks.
Yeah.
Being the bomb-ass 90s kid I was, and certainly after watching Harriet the Spy,
yes,
I decided to write everything down in my journal and try to take a picture of the guy the next night. The fact that you knew he was coming back, though.
Fuck yes.
I set my radio alarm clock to go off around 2 the following morning.
Oh my God, you were committed to this, like, booby trap or whatever.
You were like, I'm going to make sure I'm awake to see this. I would pray to God I'm asleep.
Yeah, I know. You're like inviting him.
I sat up with my journal and disposable camera waiting for the guy to return. Make sure you have flash on.
Good point.
He didn't return.
Oh.
And I like how Jennifer's the only person on earth who's upset about that.
Was bummed. Yeah.
I did the same thing every night for a week, but still didn't see the guy again. Ugh. Nothing happened again until maybe a week or 2 later. That night I woke up to see my closet door opening. You could see it starting.
No. Of course, it's when you don't have a camera.
The same gray man That's when you hear like trying to crank the disposable
Oh yeah.
camera. It's like
Oh, that horrible sound, and it's like not subtle at all.
the
You know how
same
they have
gray
like
man.
the blank photo at the beginning. You're like, hold on, that one didn't count.
The same gray man walked through, looked around, and then walked back into my closet and again closing the door behind him. So now maybe it's a residual thing.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh.
Instead of making any noise, I just sat and watched in absolute horror. This time, I wrote down exactly what I saw in my little journal. Tall man, but shorter than my dad, so my dad can take him if I need him to.
I love it.
Wearing a jacket with big buttons down the front, big belt buckle, baseball cap that had a flat top, really hairy mustache face.
Wow. Okay, this is so interesting.
The next night, I camped out on my plastic inflatable chair.
Yes.
Okay, PB teen.
Wow, PB teen.
Because my dresser, or beside my dresser, determined to get a picture of this guy living in my closet.
I bet it was limited too.
Wherever it was inflatable, and that was what made it cool.
That's what mattered.
Sure enough, I woke up to hear my closet door opening. This is when you put a bell on that damn door.
It sounds like they don't need a bell.
Yeah. So I took a picture of the door, wound the disposable camera, and tried to take another. The camera malfunctioned after the first photo.
Oh, fuck.
So I hightailed it to my sister's room.
We do remember this somehow, subconsciously, maybe.
So I hightailed it to my sister's room, thinking the gray man would come after me for taking his picture.
Oh, no.
I like how we didn't think that part through until the damage had been done.
Until it actually happened, yeah.
Also, what would happen if you took the door off its hinges? Would he just
do you think he would go like this?
Yeah, do you think you'd see his arm pushing the door?
Maybe there was a door there way back when.
That'd be crazy if... Yeah, I don't know. 2 weeks later, my mom got a bunch of film developed. 10 of my photos were just random ones of me and my friends at school and playing outside. 11 were totally black, and they were after the camera stopped working.
No.
And 1 was of my closet door. It was slightly ajar, and in it you can see the hand, arm, and shoulder of a man.
No.
My mom, wanting to see what I was so excited to get developed, took the photos. She flipped through, stopping when she came to the one in my closet, and she asked who was playing in my closet and why I would have taken a random photo of it. Finally, I confessed that it was the gray man, that I had seen him again and again and tried to take a picture to show the police, and that I had written down exactly what he looked like, and that I didn't want him to live in my closet anymore.
Oh.
My mother, can you imagine if that was Leona, though? You'd be like, a break in the case. I finally get to do something spooky.
Well, if she's like, well, don't worry, I'm Harriet the Spy, I'd be like, me too. Let's do this together. It's like all my dreams coming true.
Leona, let me show you premium white pages. Premium Ancestry.com.
Oh, listen, I have M's passwords. Don't you worry, my friend. Funkle M doesn't know.
Funkle M is on the case with you. My mother, completely freaked out by all this, asked me to get my journal and bring it to her so she could see what I had written. That night, she sat down with me and my dad and asked me to talk to them about what I was seeing. I explained that I thought this gray guy was living in my closet and was probably going to murder us all and steal my Beanie Babies.
Oh, honey. Oh, my God. You know, when you like blow something so out of proportion and then your parents find out and they're like, why didn't you say anything? And you're like, I don't know. I spiraled.
Also, like, to have a life of innocence again, where my biggest fear is, what if he steals my Beanie Babies
such a good
and
point.
kills us?
Oh, and kills us. That part's not great. Yeah.
You know what I know you would have done if you were the mom in the situation? You'd have been like, so you've been doing a stakeout without me?
Yeah, I'm actually like upset. If you've been Harriet the Spying without me, I would be like devastated.
But since it seems residual and like you can get it on footage, that's the second you put like a camera in there. Yeah. And you just get the whole experience on camera.
Well, how old are this is like old time, like 90s.
The 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, you could use a video camera that lasts 16 minutes, I guess.
She got a photo. What more do you want, Em?
My dad took a closer look at the photo and asked me for more questions. Very calmly, he explained that he thought it wasn't a person living in my closet, but that it was a ghost in the house. He pointed out that the hat I was describing was one worn by Civil War soldiers, that the shoulder in the picture had badges and pins on it. I love that they're like really identifying this picture. Like they're really looking at this picture. It had badges and pins on it like an officer would, and that the mustache, which I described pretty well as matching my uncle's giant one, was a style worn back then.
Sideburns?
Maybe sideburns.
It's a Civil War thing, I think.
The only reason my uncle wore his mustache like that now was because he's a Civil War reenactor.
Clearly we've read this before, so I'm just parroting what I said probably back then.
Well, not sideburns, but apparently he had mutton chops.
Oh, yeah, sexy.
And he styled his mutton chops after the photos he found of an officer from the Civil War.
Oh, my Lord.
Here's where things get a little weird. Girl, it's been weird.
Where have you been?
It's like, ding dong, welcome to your own story.
Yeah.
My dad's a pastor, meaning he went through years of seminary and religious training long before I was born. He's seen some crazy shit, which is another email or 5 altogether. So he's dealt with some paranormal things like this before. It took him 2 or 3 days to pull things together, but that weekend, my dad had our family perform a whole house blessing and sage ceremony. We walked through the house, my dad sprinkling holy water while blessing the rooms, my mom anointing every doorway and window with oil while saying the Lord's Prayer, me holding the smoldering stick of sage and standing in every corner, and my younger sister just following us like we were a parade of crazy people. When we came to my bedroom, my dad spent a few extra minutes in front of and even inside the closet talking to the spirit, explaining that he was free to go and move on and that he no longer was stuck in that space or time.
Wow.
We finished everything up. My mom gave us, throwback, Flintstones push pops.
Oh, I love those. Those are good.
Those
were like
fucking
creamy
through kindergarten.
Oh my God, those were good. When they got to the
mom
plastic
gave us
part,
Flintstone.
Oh my God, and then you're like, now I got another one. Now I need
it.
another one.
They were in every gas station back then. Ooh.
Good stuff.
We had a push pop and then we went to bed. That night, nothing happened. A week passed, nothing happened. 2 months passed, absolutely nothing happened. And the following summer, maybe 8 or 9 months after all that craziness went down, my sister was playing in the basement and ran upstairs to the kitchen to show my mom what she found. Hold on to your pants, because my 6-year-old sister came running up to my mom wearing a navy blue kepi hat, the slouchy kind of baseball cap with a flat top, saying that the man gave it to her while they were playing.
No, I was hoping it was just like a relic or something found in the basement, but he's still there and now he's interacting.
And also, like, you're able to physically, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that the hat can cross dimensions.
Oh, ew. Or what if he, like, wait, hold on. What if that hat was still there and that's why he was still lingering there? And he needed to, like, have someone find it so that finally he can move on. I don't know. That feels very Hollywood-esque.
I think you're a genius. I think that's totally right.
But, like, it's interesting that, like, he'd have to give the hat. Maybe it was, like, hidden somewhere on the property. I don't know.
Well, Jennifer says, first of all, in all caps, what the fuck? Then,
yes.
My sister found a genuine Union soldier's hat in our basement and talked to the fucking ghost months after I saw him last.
Jesus.
My mom bugged out and made my sister take the hat off. Like, get that off your head.
Ooh, but don't let me touch it.
Yeah, but also it's like actually should be in a museum, so let's be gentle with it.
Yeah.
And leave it and had them leave it on the desk in my dad's study. Later, my dad and uncle were able to research the name they found inside the hat, which you know the personality of all dads and uncles. Imagine getting a mission like this of like, you get to now investigate a Civil War hat. Oh my
To find the
God.
identity of the soldier who lived on your property. I mean, this is like a dream come true.
This is what they were begging for.
This is what I'm begging for now. Please, as the resident stepped out of the podcast, please give me a mystery.
Well, so this is what they found out after enough research. The soldier's name was Albertson. He was part of a Union scouting unit, and he was injured in the Battle of Gettysburg. He was shipped to a field hospital, treated, and later moved to a larger hospital near D.C. where he died from his injury. Turns out our family's house was used as a Union field hospital immediately after the Battle of Gettysburg, and both sides were treated from our home, the field behind our house that the church owns and never allowed anyone to build anything on. So now we use it as a fucking kickball field growing up.
LOL.
And it was used to bury the dead, and our living room was the surgery room.
Jesus Christ. Okay, Gettysburg is crazy, man.
My uncle found a bunch of photos of our house from that time, and there was a second-story balcony way back then. Want to know where the door to that balcony was originally located? You guessed correctly. My closet was originally the doorway out to the balcony, which apparently is where a number of hurt soldiers jumped to their deaths because they couldn't live with their injuries. So, homeboy maybe Either
That could
he
have been
did
last
or
moments. That could have been
yeah,
his last moments.
could
I
have
mean, I don't
jumped.
know. Maybe that's a leap. Oh, sorry. God damn it. That was not on purpose. I
Oh,
swear. I
holy
swear. I
shit.
swear. I swear. I swear. I swear. I swear.
No, but like, I mean, for
Worst
your
timing for a pun, but
for your closet to be the door out to the balcony where people jump to their death, like, and then you put your little kid in there. Oh my
well,
god,
not on
that's
purpose,
no,
right? I
but
mean,
still,
oh,
like,
okay.
right
Yeah,
out of a
yeah.
horror
It
movie.
just feels like, yeah, it feels like just, wow, you can't make this shit up. Like, life is stranger than fiction. To have pictures of, I mean, you know, I love an old house, but like, it would be so startling to be like, oh, this closet,
Yeah.
it used to have, it used to be or it was the final place for several soldiers who died by suicide. I mean, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Oh my god. We always had odd things happening in the house. Lights and radios would turn on and off. Doors and drawers would open and close on their own. We would always hear footsteps walking up and down the wooden staircases and the long hallways. Honestly, none of that ever bothered any of us. But if my mom couldn't find something in the kitchen, she would take a moment and say, "Okay, boys, where'd you put my whatever she's looking for?" Then whatever it was she needed would either be sitting beside the sink or in the middle of the kitchen table.
Oh, that's handy.
I like that if you're gonna live like basically on an army camp, it's like, okay, let the soldiers like
Please lend me a
work with
helping
them
hand.
versus
Yeah.
against them.
Also, I realized I made a little faux pas because he was clearly, they said, died in DC or near DC
Oh,
after they got
right.
shipped to a different hospital. So he may have just been going out for a smoke on the balcony. I don't know.
Or maybe he was like, for all we know, like maybe his best friend jumped and
maybe
he went
somebody
looking
else
for him
jumped.
or
Who
something.
knows? Yeah.
You know?
I mean, either way.
Or maybe
just,
he contemplated and then went, you
yeah.
know, who
Or
knows?
maybe
Who
that's
knows?
just where they went, you know, to be
Anyway,
sad.
we moved to PA, Pennsylvania when I was 13 and my sister was 11, but growing up in that house gave us both the knowledge and respect for the unknown. Sorry this is so long, but it's a pretty cool story that I don't often share. So that's from Jennifer.
You know, I got it mixed up with a different story at first that I thought I remembered this one. I remember the soldier part, but had forgotten how just totally validating their story was. Like, I didn't realize they got all
Yeah.
those, like, actual facts and evidence, you know? But the one I was thinking of was that one where the little boy kept coming out of the closet and was, like, playing on the floor or whatever. Do you remember that
Oh,
story?
yes.
That's, like, what I
Yes.
thought at first when I heard the closet door opening, but yeah.
Wow.
Okay. This is from, oh my God, this one's from Tiana,
Tiana.
February 9th, 2017. I almost brought this up at the beginning of this episode that we used to have our friends write stories in for us because
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't have any listeners yet. And so we needed to kickstart.
Oh, this is my Tiana?
Yes.
Oh.
February 9th, 2017. That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, we did. We were like, before we had people writing in, we were like, can you send a story, please?
Well, we realized we had a listener episode to record. And we were like, with what? Like, with what stories? Like, we didn't want to blatantly like make them up, obviously. So we were like, well, we have to get our spookiest friends to send their stories in.
Yeah.
I love this. Okay. Oh wow, this one's actually a crime story. I can't believe I forgot about this, but the subject is SWAT, arson, and chili fest. Oh my. Also,
Okay.
if I recall, I think we pretended they weren't our friends in that episode. I'm like pretty sure we pretended they were just like submissions from strangers or
You
something.
were like, oh, thanks, Tiana. Thanks for writing
Tiana,
in.
wink. And I was probably like, who's Tiana? Because I didn't know any of your friends yet, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tiana says, I have 2 hometown murders for you. Number 1. This murder happened in 2014 while I was living in College Station, Texas, and the victims were the husband and daughter of the school counselor of the school I was student teaching at.
Mm-hmm.
This murder hit the community really hard and still stays with me to this day. So do you know this story offhand or not really?
No, I don't remember it at all. Okay. And also the last time I heard it was probably the very first listeners episode we ever did. So
yeah. Okay. Wow. Around 4:30 a.m., 911 started to receive calls about a fire and explosion at a local residence. The house was completely engulfed in flames by the time firefighters arrived. They put the fire out and determined that Noel Devon owned the house. They called her cell phone, no answer. They finally got in touch with her mom, who drove to the scene. She told police that her husband had driven to Noel's house at about 5:30 the previous evening to return her dog and never came back. She had fallen asleep, so didn't notice his absence. His truck was still parked on the street with the dog still inside, safe and sound. Praise the Lord, says Tiana. Agreed. When police searched the truck, they noticed white stains and a very strong bleach smell. Noel's SUV was also missing. Police found, oh dear. Police found 2 burned bodies inside the house, one in the front living room and one in the rear bedroom. They turned out to be Noelle and her father, Mac, who were stabbed to death.
Oh my God.
There was also evidence of sexual assault.
Oof.
Remember her missing SUV? It was found later the same day at a nearby hotel outside room 18, along with gasoline, bleach, and some of Noelle's clothing and jewelry. The man renting the room was Dennis Wayne Brown III, who, guess what, has just been released from prison on Friday.
Well, there you have it.
Literally 3 days prior. He had served 15 years for aggravated robbery. At first, there were a lot of theories circulating that Noel had met Brown at Chili Fest, a gigantic festival with music, chili, and beer that weekend, which is what set off the whole chain of events. Hello, victim blaming.
Mm-hmm.
It later came out that it was a completely random attack, a crime of opportunity. Basically, Brown waited until Noelle was alone, broke in, assaulted and murdered her. Her dad arrived at some point either during or after the attack, which is horrible, and was
try
also
to save
killed.
her, or ended up trying to save her, I'm sure.
I assume was just horrified. He then burned down the house to try and cover it all up.
Wow.
Brown was indicted on capital murder, arson, and burglary. The state was planning on pursuing the death penalty, but the case was never tried. Brown was found dead in his cell in May 2015 after an overdose of antidepressants. Wow, Jesus. Okay, well, that's dark. I guess we started off... Yeah, thanks a lot, Tiana. Also, I feel like we must have started off strong with these fucking episodes. They must have been... But, well, it's like, oh, let's ask our friends for episode. They send the most horrific stuff.
She's like, I know just the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I've been waiting to tell you this story,
Wow.
Now, this is number 2 from Tiana. In April 2016, April Tevers entered... Oh, I remember this story. I covered this on the podcast.
Did you?
Years later. I mean, years ago now.
Wow.
But it was in this house, so it must have been like... I certainly didn't remember Tiana sending a story about it.
Wow, well, thanks, Tiana, for the foreshadowing.
You know what? I bet there's so much weird shit. Like, in that episode where I talk about... whatever, College Station, Texas, you're probably like, oh, Tiana lived there. Like, I bet there was some comment. So I did cover this story. I don't know what episode it was off the top of my head, but Em and Megan have created a wonderful database on the website for you to search. Okay, April 2016, April Tevers entered a local church in Midlothian, Texas to set up for her Gladiator Boot Camp fitness class. She got there early. We're talking 4 a.m. early. By 5 a.m., her boot camp class members arrived and found her body. The report says she died of puncture wounds to her head and chest. So here's where it gets crazy. Surveillance video from the church shows a person entering the lobby dressed in police SWAT gear, a mask,
I remember this story
and
now.
carrying a hammer. Wasn't that like horrific? We talked about that being like the worst thing to be carrying. Ugh.
Yeah.
The video shows the person walking around the church, opening doors and breaking things with the hammer. It is impossible to tell who the person is from the video or even if they are male or female. The still from the surveillance video is so creepy, I've attached it. During police investigation, they found that Tevers had ongoing financial and marital difficulties, including flirtatious and familiar messages to someone else. Both Tevers and her husband were engaged in relationships outside their marriage. Her father-in-law had turned in a bloody shirt for dry cleaning, so they tested that, and it turned out to be dog blood. I don't know if you remember that.
I know, I don't remember that.
Law enforcement investigated all these leads, but as of today, the murder is still unsolved. I mean, this was way back when. I think it was definitely still unsolved, I believe, when I covered it. There are conspiracy theories about the in-laws committing the murder, and there's an entire Facebook page dedicated to figuring out who killed her. Some believe it was a hitman, others believe a serial killer, some believe it was just a random attack. IDK. Wow, Tiana, thank you. That
Thanks,
was 8
Tiana.
years ago.
Wow,
February 2017.
I'll text her and let her know that she's still making it on, and that's why we drink.
She knows because I'm assuming Eva responded and said, "Hi, we're covering your story, Tiana."
Interesting that she didn't text me then.
Wait a minute. Interesting she didn't respond to Eva's email. That seems pretty effed up. Interesting. It says you've been blocked from this email. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, that makes a little sense. Anyway, okay. Well, thanks, Tiana.
Yes.
Okay. The next one we have is from Nicole, who I don't know their pronouns these days because this is an early email. But the subject line is, "You're gonna want to read this."
Okay.
All right, Nicole. Let's see how true that is. Nicole says, "Hello, my sweet, and that's why we drink family. I'm a big fan of the show. My friend Jess got me into the show when I lived in Portugal, and now I'm hooked. My fiance's gotten into it as well, and which is kind of funny because we live in Oh, I skipped a line. My fiance has gotten into it as well, but now he thinks every noise we hear is a ghost or serial killer, which was kind of funny because we live in a fraternity house, so there's a ton of college boys making noise all the time. So
Great.
Anyway, the roller coaster I'm about to take you on isn't my personal story, but I'm going to tell it in first person on behalf of my friend Hannah. So we're pretending Hannah is saying this to us.
Mm-hmm.
We were driving back to my cousin's house in Stafford Springs from Hartford, Connecticut after her theater show one night. Hannah's house is kind of out in the country, so it's a heavily wooded area with the houses set up off the roads. And it's me, my cousin, who's about my age, my younger sister, and another younger cousin. And
Isn't
I'm in
it
the
her
passenger
cousin's
seat.
house? Or is it her house?
One of
This
their
is so
houses.
confusing.
One of their houses.
Cut
And
that
I'm in the
part out,
passenger
Jack,
seat.
please. Sorry.
And I'm in the passenger seat. We are driving and just passing time on the drive with music and talk about the show. We slow a bit when we see a deer in the road that had been hit by a car.
Oh.
Okay, whatever, not a big deal. We avoid the wreckage and come back up to speed. I'm doing what most passengers do until I think I see something on the side of the road. I think I see a hand.
What?
I brush it off because why would it be a hand? After a second, my cousin driving asks, "Did you guys see something back there?" Before I can answer, the car in front of us stops in the road, and the driver waves us forward, and we pull up. As we approach, I can see the driver, a girl about our age, is hysterically crying. I saw something back there, she says.
Oh,
I think I
God.
saw a hand.
You all saw it at the same time.
Which is wild. I feel like homegirl in the car ahead of you looked in her rearview mirror to make sure that you were all like girlies the same age because like why else would you pull, like I would be scared to wave anyone over to me, but like maybe she was like, oh, we can all be in this together, you know?
My weird instinct was that she was saying pass me, and they just like, because she needed to pull over and was just like pass
Maybe
by.
that's what it was.
Because like you wouldn't know the difference between pass by versus like pull up to me. So maybe it's like, oh, and then they were able to connect because they were thankfully all the same age. I don't know.
Coincidentally, I had just taken a bystander awareness class, so of course I suggest we have to go back. So both of the cars turn around and make the short drive back to where the mysterious hand was sighted. We stop in the road and I get out. Turns out the hand was attached to a body.
No.
The body belonged to a girl probably in her 20s.
No.
She was wearing a white dress that was covered in blood.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
She was just so bloody. Her joints and limbs were bent at weird angles, and her eyes were open and glazed over. And this chick was dead.
This is so traumatizing.
I turn back to the car and say, call the police. But before I could finish, I see this bitch resurrect.
No.
I'm talking, her limbs and joints come back together.
Wait, what?
She starts breathing. She stands the fuck up. Stands right up like she was just chilling on the couch and not lying on the side of some random backcountry road at midnight. And at this point, the chick in the other car is screaming. Yes, duh.
Uh-huh.
The dead girl is not standing and completely ignores me. She turns and just starts walking down the road, the direction we had just come from. I yell at her, ma'am, are you all right? Nothing. She just keeps walking.
Oh.
So, which honestly, in my mind, I'm like, she has adrenaline. She's just like trying to fight for her life. So I get back in the car and we call the police. They show up with an ambulance and ask some questions and look around. I tell them what I told you. That girl was dead. And by the way, earlier in the notes, it did say dead and then spelled out DEAD, dead.
Okay,
So,
got it. Important note.
Dead. They thank us and tell us to head on home like this was a normal casual encounter that you just head back home after. So the screaming girl in the other car wants us to follow her to her house because she's so freaked out.
Aww.
I like that you just become instant friends in this.
Yeah, I guess
how
you're
would you
trauma
not?
bonding.
It's on the way, so we say sure and follow her while recounting the story a million times in the car. She pulls off into her driveway and we keep going. Eventually the woods thin and a field opens up to the right. Sounds chill until we see the dead girl standing alone in the middle of the field.
I'm sorry.
With a troop of cop cars forming a semicircle around her, pointing their headlights at her.
What?
She's just standing there, barely even acknowledging them, staring past them into the night.
What?
What
kind of apocalyptic hellscape is this?
This is so fucking
I'm
crazy.
afraid of this.
I, of course, instruct my cousin to pull over so we could watch the show unfold. Yes, of course.
Thank you.
An office.
That poor crying girl is like, what? I just want to go home.
An officer comes running up to our car and tells us a bit frantic to leave, get out of here. We can't be here. I tell him that we're the ones who called them in the first place, but he just keeps repeating himself until we agree to go.
I'm a bystander expert. I took a class. That's what you tell him.
But he keeps repeating himself until we agree to go, leaving dead girl still standing in the field. I wish I could tell you she shot up into the air or transformed into a giant lizard or something super sick, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. I see a girl come back to life and leave her standing in a field, and I have no idea what happened. So many people have combed over the internet with me trying to find something, but there's nothing out there. This feels like some Stranger Things shit that they stumbled upon.
It does.
I should, honestly, in hindsight, I'm sure they've thought it too. I would have been like, bitch, get in the car. Like, what's going on? Like, get in the car.
Hell no, don't get in the car.
I'd be like, get in the car, because like, I want to be in
Your bones just like bullshit. You would not. Come on.
I wouldn't. You're right, I wouldn't. No one from the
area.
You
wouldn't even want the blood on your seats.
I just want someone else to do it that I know who can tell me about it at Chili's the next day.
Yeah.
No one
Chili Fest.
No one from the area has ever heard of her. It's like some kind of massive secret. We have our theories, including some kind of trafficking, kidnapping ploy, drugs, possession, but we'll never know about the dead girl in Connecticut until maybe now we've got a much bigger following now. Maybe someone's heard something.
Please, somebody reach out. Remember that the subject is you're gonna want to read this. So if you have any info, maybe put that in your subject.
Yeah. And so this is from Nicole. So thank you, Nicole, for that.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Woo. Wow. Was that the end?
That was the end. So you have one last one and I have one last one.
Man, okay, that was a doozy. I'm already freaked out by that. This is number 11. It's called My Body Almost Got Snatched in the Astral Plane. Oh no.
Oh.
I had just forgotten about this one.
I have forgotten about it. I'm excited to hear about it again though.
Rocky, she, her. My body almost got snatched in the astral plane. I'm mad now because I'm like, damn it, this scares me every time I try to astral project. Dear Christine, M, Eva, and the amazing crew of And That's Why We Drink. Today, I want to talk. Oh, yeah, sorry. February 2024. I'm losing it. I thought it said 25. I was like, that hasn't happened yet. Okay.
We're in the astral plane.
What's happening to me? Okay. Today I want to talk to you about my first time astral projecting and the very creepy message I got from someone in the astral plane. But first, I want to thank you for everything you do. I've been a long-time listener and I love your banter. Oh, I've just told everyone I know about the history of celery. I love that. Your podcast has helped me through my commute to work, folding laundry, the bane of any ADHDer's existence, and all the mundane chores that would put me to sleep. Okay, now let's crack into it. A few months ago, I astral projected for the first time out of nowhere. I have never tried to astral project before. I've never kept a dream diary or even had a lucid dream. Okay, that's already wild. I came home from school in the late afternoon and went to bed early, absolutely bone tired from the day. I don't remember falling asleep or what do we call it? Breaking into Wallace.
Yeah. You haven't broken into Wallace recently? That's crazy.
Sounds like she broke into Wallace Jr. or Wallace
somewhere.
Evil twin or something. I don't know. Okay. I don't remember falling asleep, just getting in bed and suddenly waking up again. I jolted up in bed as if I had just woken up from a bad dream, and I got out of bed quickly in a little bit of a panic. When I turned around, I saw myself in bed, sound asleep. And that is how they say you're supposed to get out of your own body. Like, sit up quickly.
You know, the very first time probably the only time I've ever astral projected was
You've astral projected? I'm sure I've said this before.
I was a little
flying
kid.
around?
Flying around. And
yes.
I remember peeling out of my body and going back in my body at the end.
See, I knew you were a genius at this. You're like a you're like a prophet.
It only happened once, but I remember it vividly. And I remember being like, this is the best fucking thing.
And were you just not able to do it again?
Yeah, I didn't have it was totally not something I tried to do either at 5. It just happened.
Gosh,
and I remember flying around my kitchen. I remember just like, and I remember like, it wasn't just kind of like going straight across. I remember like doing the woo,
like
woo.
under the, yes.
Like I remember having to in my mind, like mentally generate energy to go back up. And then it was like Flappy Bird or whatever.
That's like kind of how you do it when you're
Angry Bird.
Lucid dreaming. But yeah, to be astral projecting is so wild. I don't have any conscious memory of doing that. That would be so cool.
It was a great feeling. It only happened once though.
Do you remember getting back to your body, or you just like, you do? How did you do it?
I mean, I remember leaving my bed,
Uh-huh.
floating, and like in my room and seeing myself lying down.
And I just hear, "Wee!"
And pretty much, I was not scared at all, and I remember just going down the stairs and then doing a couple laps around my kitchen,
That's
and then
so
thinking, "Oh, I need to go back upstairs. I need to be." I think in my child brain, I was like, "My mom's gonna be
it's
mad
up
if I'm
past my
not
bedtime.
sleeping."
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I went back up the stairs and I went back to myself, and then plop right back in.
You know, it's so funny. You hear people talk about, I think this is that story, maybe, I'm not sure, but one of the stories where it was like, I can't get back into my body. And it
Mm.
sounds like kids just like are like, they just accept it, like, oh, I'll just pop back in. And then it sounds like when you get fearful and are like, oh my God, I'm out of my body, that's when it's like harder to kind of reconnect. At
Well,
least that's what I've learned.
the whole premise of that movie Insidious is that like a kid accidentally was astral projecting when he'd go to sleep and he couldn't get back in his body, and so it looked like he was in a coma, and it was just his
Well,
astral
I'm
body
certainly
was
not ever watching that. Okay.
okay.
Fuck off with that.
That's the whole thing though, is that like his soul can't get back to his body because he got trapped by
No.
like other spirits. It was basically like, well, when he was astral projecting, he left his body open as a vessel, and so something else took over his
Yes.
body
Yeah.
and blocked him from being able to get back in his own body. So it
Oh,
looked like he was in a
gosh.
coma, but he was just stuck.
You guys, there's safe astral projection. I promise. I promise. It's just, it's like Ouija boards. Like you just, if just love and light, love and light. Here we go. Okay. I'm already scared. When I turned around, I saw myself in bed, sound asleep. I didn't know what was going on and I started freaking out. I tried to wake myself up, but when I tried to touch my body, my hands went right through my torso.
Oh!
Not knowing what to do, I went to look for my mom. I live with my mama and we have a really close relationship, and I thought that if anyone could help me, it would be her. I was honestly so panicked and freaked out that it hadn't even occurred to me yet that I could be dreaming or astral projecting. That was be my first thought, but I guess I think about that a lot. I walked out to the living room to find my mom eating popcorn and watching television in her pajamas. I remember she was wearing a blue nightie I hadn't seen her in before and watching one of her stories. I tried to talk to her, but she didn't acknowledge me at all. Which, doesn't that make you wonder how many are like close to you and you just don't even hear
Yeah.
them?
Who's trying
Ugh,
to talk to me right now?
forget it. Ugh. I stood in front of the TV and waved my hands, but she looked right through me.
Oh.
At this point, my panic had started to subside, and I came to the conclusion I must be in a dream. I remember making the decision to explore the house and walking to the kitchen. The kitchen in our house has a door that slides open and closed, and when I approached, the door was shut. When I slid the door open, on the other side, I was shocked to find there was a very large green field filled with people picnicking.
What?
When I opened the door, all of the people in the field turned and looked at me all at the same time
Oh.
and just continued to stare.
Oh my God.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
Oh my God.
And it's also the feeling like when you're like like you're late to class and all your classmates like turn and stare at you at the door.
Oh, and suddenly
It's
the
just like-
spotlight's just on you. Oh
Just
my
like,
God.
ooh, like either you're not supposed to be here or
Ooh.
why are you here? Or, oh my God. Speaking of which, Allison just peeked her
Just,
little
like,
head through.
appeared.
Allison looks sick.
Oh no.
I love you, Allison. The poor little girl.
Oh no.
She also just woke up, I think, from a really deep nap, so she looks like she was just on another astral plane.
Oh, she probably what? Maybe that's not
So
her.
wait-
Maybe she's astral projecting.
I was just
Oh
like,
my
"Are you
God.
okay?"
But
anyway.
she's sick though, right? Like,
Yeah, she's definitely sick.
okay. So we know what's wrong. It's not just mystery.
No.
Okay, good. Phew. Okay, so the people picnicking. At this point, I freaked out again, ran back to my bedroom, and laid down over my own body, waiting and hoping to fall asleep in the dream and return to reality.
Oh, that's so awkward, just lying on top of yourself, hoping
Yeah,
that you'll
Like,
morph.
does this do it? Is this work? Is this doing anything? Not okay. Sorry. Eventually, after some time, I woke up in real life and was happy to find there was only one of me. I ran out to the living room to tell my mom about my dream and stopped dead in my tracks. Not only was she watching the same episode of her show on the television, she was also wearing the same blue nightie from my dream that I had never seen before and munching on her popcorn. I asked when she had gotten those pajamas, and she said she had literally just bought them from Walmart. And that's when I realized what had happened hadn't been a dream at all. There was absolutely no way I could have dreamt what my mom was watching, wearing, and eating. Thinking about it still gives me chills. The next night and every night for the next few days, I was really afraid of astral projecting again. But night after night, I went to sleep without incident. It got to the point where I thought that it would never happen again, and I was safe. I even began to dismiss my own experience as a coincidence and just a really vivid dream, though I couldn't explain how I had known what she was watching, eating, and wearing. Then one night, a few months later, it happened again. I woke up and was sitting inside my own sleeping body, like literally something straight out of a movie. This time, when I went into the living room, there was no one home, and for some reason, I felt much braver than I had the first time I had astral projected. I was determined to figure out what was going on. I opened up my kitchen door, expecting to find the field full of people, but inside was just my kitchen again. Well, I thought if there was no one home, I'll just have to go outside and ask someone what is going on. I left my house and began to walk down my street, determined to find someone to pay attention to me and tell me what was happening.
Someone explain!
Help! There were people I didn't recognize on the streets, but they all just gave me weird, suspicious sideways glances and wouldn't talk to me if I approached them. I tried talking to a few people, but every time I said anything, they would walk right past me. Ew, so it's like some people could sense you were there, even though it was just your spirit.
Which is,
Oh
I
my
guess
God.
that's like when people have a gut feeling
Like,
or
Yeah,
like,
or psychic or mediumship abilities or something. I don't know.
when you can sense someone is nearby, yeah.
Yeah.
But you just can't see them. Oh, that's so creepy.
A ways from my house, there is a bus stop. This is what I remember vividly. And I noticed there was a red bus pulled up to it with people getting on. I don't know what gave me the gall or bravery, but I remember thinking I could get answers if I could get on the bus. Try walking away from me if you're stuck on a bus sitting next to me. But before I could board the bus, I felt someone grab my arm and pull me out of the bus doorway. I turned around to see a man I had never met before looking at me super worried. He looked at me like he knew me and said very gravely, "What are you doing here?"
Oh, I remember this now.
I just got chills. I asked if I knew him, but he ignored my question and kept talking. "You shouldn't be here. You need to go back to your body or they will take it." Oh my
It's
fucking
insidious.
God. Oh my fucking God. I was shocked and super freaked out and asked him again, but he just shoved me away in the direction of my house. "You need to go back to your body now." After that, he got on the bus, and suddenly I lost all my determination, thank God. I decided to run back to my house and to my bedroom. My body was still there, sound asleep, and I laid down in myself just like I had the time before. This time when I woke up, however, I had sleep paralysis. I was awake in my body. But yeah, I feel like it's a lot of the same processes in your body that happen. I was awake in my body, but I couldn't get myself to move. Around my room, I could see shadowy figures floating above my bed and staring down at me. I wanted to scream and run or do anything to make it stop, but I couldn't move. I stayed like that for what felt like hours in full-blown panic mode until finally I felt like I was released from what felt like a living nightmare. I know sleep paralysis is just your mind hallucinating and muscle paralysis, but I'm still convinced today that the shadowy figures I saw floating around in my room, staring down at me, were the things the man in the astral plane was trying to warn me about.
God.
Oh my
God.
God. Ever since then, whenever I've astral projected, I've never left my room, afraid that something is going to try and snatch my body. I still don't know if I completely believe in astral. Are you serious? I still don't know if I completely believe in astral projection.
Are you an idiot? Come on.
What is wrong with you? Or if what happened to me was more dream than reality. But I can tell you one thing, I'm never going to leave my room again when I'm in the astral plane. Stay safe out there, folks, in the real world and the astral one, and beware of the body snatchers. Cheers, Rocky. Oh, God.
I mean, so like for the people who are more curious, would you mind teaching us how to do it though? Because
I mean, I don't know. I've never done it before. I do know that like there are safer.
No, I mean, would Rocky teach us?
Oh, Rocky. Oh, I thought you were asking me. Yeah. Well, it sounds like. Oh, I see. How are you doing this? Well, it sounds like they're trying not to. Maybe that's the key.
Maybe that's the key, is to try not to. Yeah.
Right.
Man, yeah, I definitely remember that man on the bus going, "How did you get here?" Or like recognizing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because like, so were you just like one of the good ones who wouldn't do that, or have you been here before? Were we both astral projecting at the same time? They seem to like understand.
It sounds like a spirit guide more because they knew her.
Yeah.
She didn't know them.
The fact that it recognized you too. Yeah. So it must be someone that watches over you pretty often.
And that you didn't recognize. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, everyone, this is just about the longest listeners episode we've ever done. We have one final one for you, to round us out, and this is from Houston. Nope, it says hello from Houston, the town. Okay, so who is the person? The
Maybe
person
it's Hughes,
is
which is what you did say.
Nicholas.
So quick note.
Yeah.
Was this the bonus or no? Oh no, there was no bonus. It was just a bonus update. Sorry, side note. And then I was gonna say one more thing. Never mind. Forget it. Sorry, go ahead, Em. I cannot remember what for the life of me. It felt important.
You're good.
Oh wait, I remember.
Let me see. What?
So I'm hoping, that with the rule of thirds, that the third person knocks on your door, and this time it really is a black-eyed kid, because it feels like two have happened. We won't feel like the narrative is completed until the third. So maybe I should text Eva now and say, go knock on M's door, just to kind of round out the whole experience, you know?
Yeah, it feels like every fourth story I have gotten a knock, so
Yeah. Yikes.
maybe that'll happen again. But every time so far, it's been quite a lovely interaction, unless I'm inviting something in I don't know about. So, okay, this is from Nicholas. This is from 2018, so we're not asking for pronouns yet, so I don't know what's going on with Nicholas. But this is the subject line. It's a long one. Listen, the universe is out to get me, including the Matrix and black-eyed kids, and I just need someone to tell me I'm not crazy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Nicholas, I like how you told the whole story in the subject line. Great. So here's the rest of it. Hello from Houston. I've been a listener since early this last school year, and as soon as I heard about the listeners episode that mentioned the glitches in the Matrix, I was astonished. I didn't know that anyone else had experiences like this, and I figured I was just somewhat insane. Oh, look at us validating people's experiences. I want to go over everything that's happened to me, but that would take forever, so I'll just go over the juicy one. Thank you, Nicholas. First, I was born. Okay, Nicholas. Just kidding. Now that would take forever. I've rewritten this email like 3 times trying to shorten this down and make it somewhat short. But listen, life's hard. I think the best place to start my story is during my
say the best place to start shortening is the subject line, because that one's pretty long. But you know, I like it long, and most listeners like. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I mean, I like the longer episodes or the longer stories. So don't worry. I think other people. Never mind. Forget it. Just kick me out. Just go on without me. Leave my husk behind. I give up.
It's okay. Christine likes it long, and
Stop!
no, just like Nicholas's subject line. So here we go. I think the best place to start my story is during my freshman year of high school. I am not going to get into all the paranormal stuff I saw at my house, but let's just say it wasn't easy to sleep at night. I had tons and tons of crazy dreams. One day, everything stopped. I don't know how or why, but it was amazing. I was so happy, and everything started going great in my life. I skipped the whole part about how my friends and I always talked on the phone while we sat in bed. To summarize, from around 7th grade, my little squad was very close and would Skype call every night to help everyone calm down before bed. Aww. That's precious. Back to the main story. One day, one of my friends introduced me to this girl over Skype. He said he had a weird feeling that we would be perfect for each other, and even though she lived a couple states away, he was so right. Throughout the rest of high school, me and this girl had a great relationship, and both of us had saved money throughout high school so we could meet after we graduated. Oh my God, the long con.
The long con.
It was like it was like a dream come true as I met the love of my life for the first time, and we both lost our first kiss the first time we saw each other. We moved in together as we both attended the University of Texas in Austin, where I was a computer science major and my girlfriend was a civil engineer. Sadly, things started happening. Oh, like things like picked up again spooky wise. Is that what he means?
What? Oh, I don't know.
Sadly, things started happening. Well, let's read on and find out. Another thing
I certainly don't know.
Okay. Another thing I totally skipped to save time was how my family has a weird connection with aliens.
Oh God.
Every man on my father's side of my family has a story about aliens. That is every single one but me.
Ugh.
At first I figured maybe I'm too boring for them or something, but boy was I wrong about that. Back to the story. I'm not liking the teasing,
yeah,
Nicholas.
This is
You're gonna have to just say it all.
Yeah, we like it long.
Yeah, we like it long and strong, down to get the friction on, you know? So okay, the first thing I started noticing was how my girlfriend and I were asleep. It was always dead silent. This wouldn't have bothered me if we weren't living in the middle of a city.
Ugh.
The second thing was that whenever I looked at my reflection in the mirror, it was never quite right.
No.
It almost looked more sad than it should
No.
have. Skip forward a year and nothing has really changed except my girlfriend and I were closer than ever, and I was actually ready to propose to her, but the same day I was going to, I looked in the mirror and my reflection wasn't just off, but there was a tear rolling down its cheek.
What?
Its cheek.
Oh.
I figured it was a trick of the light even though I was a bit shaken. Then I heard the doorbell ring. Normally, I liked when people came over, but this time for some reason, that sound gave me a feeling of dread.
Mm-mm.
Naturally, since I was in the bathroom, my girlfriend decided that she would go see who it was, and my dread worsened as I heard the door creak open through the house. I thought about calling to my girlfriend and telling her to shut the door, but I was frozen in fear. I heard a young voice ask if they could use the telephone. These words gave me shivers down my spine. They did, however, also shake me enough to get me moving again, and the first thing I did was fly out of my bathroom and right beside my girlfriend. Sadly, this wasn't before I heard her say, "Sure." So she invited them in.
What the fuck, dude?
So it's almost like his the tear is like a premonition, like warning him
Yeah.
of like something
Yeah.
bad's about to happen.
Yeah. Or like your higher self knows or something.
Yeah, something dark's coming. When I ran into the room, I felt like I was going to die. It was
Oh.
the scariest feeling I've ever felt in my life, and right as I got into the room, one of the kids looked up. Their eyes were like black holes, sucking in all the joy, happiness, and life that I had. Quickly, my vision also turned to black, and I passed out. When I woke up, I felt awful. I woke up in bed with my soon-to-be wife, and everything was back to normal, except for one thing. Neither of us were smiling. I figured I would wait to propose until we both seemed a bit less sad.
Oh.
And a couple months after that, we went to the doctor as we both didn't feel good at all. We both had cancer.
What?
Mine was testicular and my girlfriend's was breast cancer. And upon hearing this news, I looked at my girlfriend and we both burst into tears. There had to be some mistake. How could this happen to us? We were so young. Then I woke up.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I'm writing this at the end of my freshman year of high school.
Yes, I remember this.
Whoa. So all that was like a premonition from a dream, or like you actually lived the life and now like you've flipped back into freshman
I'm
year of
like
high school.
so freaked out right now.
I recently talked to my friend who first introduced my girlfriend and I, but when I mentioned her last name, he looked at me like I was crazy because there's no way I could have known about her.
Oh no.
Of course, that was totally what I expected. I called her and talked to her, and we clicked again, just like before. The only problem is she's different, and not just kind of different. The girl that used to always cheer me up and brighten my day has depression and is suicidal. I don't know what happened, but she always talks like she's going to inevitably die, and when I asked her how, she answered with one word, cancer. Oh my God.
My God.
Anyways, who knows where this universe will take me next, but whatever it is, I'm sure I sure hope y'all's podcast is in it. Oh, thanks, I guess.
I don't. I'm just kidding.
I know this was a long story, but I need to type it out. It's really been a burden on me and it has haunted me too. The paranormal stuff that happened to me before I met this girl the first time has all come back and won't go away again.
Ugh.
Wow. It's like
Before I met her the first time, I mean, that's how real it feels.
And also, so like it's like all the paranormal stuff stopped just for you to have this like one massive paranormal experience.
Right.
And then once
then
that was over,
you right back to the beginning.
And then once it was over, it's like, okay, well now we can go off pause and go back to our normal
Yeah, like all hell
programming.
breaks loose all of a sudden again. Wow.
One of the weirdest parts is that I still retain my computer knowledge I had in college.
That was my
Holy
first
shit.
question. I was going to say, do you remember all the, because that would be great if you could just whiz through college like that.
Yeah, this is the only proof I have that any of this happened, but recently I programmed a scaling algorithm for different kinds of charts from memory, and even my teacher in high school programming doesn't understand completely how it works, which just goes to show that it's not something a high school kid would know, unless you were just like programmed with knowledge immediately. Maybe that was the alien experience, right? Like now all of a sudden you've got all this information.
Whoa, yeah, good point. They were like, go to college.
It's like, here's
alien
information.
Oh.
I think I've typed enough for one email, but I just wanted to say that you guys have seriously helped me. Also, like, well, you're and tell Geo hi for me. Go Team Wine, even though I can't legally drink it anymore. Oh, because you're not 21 yet. Again.
Oh my God. Yet again. I'm so sorry. Hey, the good news is you're probably 21 now because this was 2018.
You're right.
Right?
Oh my God.
Oh, here's what I wrote. June 19th, 2018. Nicholas. Oh, wow. That's so sad and creepy. Oh, wait, no, this is Eva. Obviously, I can tell when it's Eva. She's a lot nicer, I think, than me.
And then Nicholas did say in an update years ago, my life is getting so much easier. I've already gone through school. Everything is super easy. Not to brag, but I just skipped a year of English by finishing both semesters in 6 days each. Okay, Nicholas.
Damn. Okay.
So it sounds like Nicholas is doing okay now. But I mean,
Phew.
honestly, if that taught me anything, go to a doctor now and start getting tested for stuff, right?
I
Because
guess
like,
if you feel wrong, if you feel off at least, or if you
feel off, or if you feel like that, maybe there are some overlaps to that world you experienced, you know, like maybe just check.
Oof.
I would be terrified though to look in a mirror every day and wonder if my face looked a little contorted, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
if it doesn't look like me.
and
That
what
must
could
be
it all
so freaky.
and what could it all mean about like the person that you were supposed to or that you
Yeah.
ended up with in another worlds? Like she does actually exist, but she's not the personality you remember. So like why are there only half truths to this
Well, do you think that
when you're coming back
well,
to it,
do you
you
think
know?
do you think that both of them were in this alternate experience together and this was her
Mm.
response to it, and she wakes up and she like is just now in this deep dark place, and maybe like Nicholas just has been able to move past it, and maybe it fucked her up more than you know what I mean? Like maybe, I don't know, maybe it was like a
You know,
residual
it'd be
thing from the
interesting.
experience.
You know, it'd be interesting too is like this would feel a little too much like a movie ending, but like maybe she also remembers everything and she's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
faking knowing him to keep him from ever having to like get hurt
Or
or
maybe it
something. I
just
don't know.
maybe it wasn't even that, maybe she doesn't remember the details, or but just like it was just like a bad experience and she woke up like feeling like she
Yeah.
had a premonition of her death, you know? Like maybe she just remembers that life like it's like a dream, like you know what I mean? Like maybe it's just really vivid to Nicholas but not to her, and she's like has a like a sinking
Yeah.
feeling that there's like cancer. I don't know. It's just weird. I wonder if we
Oh
talk
my
if you talk
God.
to her now, Nicholas, if she would be like if she would have like changed kind of more into the person you knew or not. I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, both of you seem to have in different ways knowledge of like maybe a health thing in the future. So maybe that
A
actually saves you,
premonition.
you know,
Yeah.
saves you. I don't know. But, you know, at least you both have information to work
You should
with.
at least forward her this email, or not this email, but you should at least forward her an email about black-eyed kids so she doesn't open the damn door whenever that happens, you know? Maybe it's just to save her in
That's
the
a good
future,
point too.
you know? Maybe just teach her not to open the door.
Maybe she listens to this podcast. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and then she hears you opening the door every 5 minutes and is like, "Oh, okay. I'm safe."
Mhm. Oh, well, man, that's certainly a scary, juicy one to end on.
Wouldn't it be wild if I had Jack add some knocking right now in that add it in
Stop.
post,
Oh my God.
and then we're like,
I would be curious, Nicholas, if you still listen to the show. I would be interested if you could finally send those other stories. That'd be great because you've been leading us on for years.
Stop leading us on. You're such a tease.
Well, that was pretty good.
Oh my God.
That was a pretty good 100th episode / lost 16th episode being reclaimed finally.
I hope we made up for that, because it sounds like we did double the work that when we made Allison Blazin.
That's true. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed the 100th listeners episode. I can't believe
it.
that. I can't believe we've done this. That's incredible.
It feels really long, like I like just how I like it.
It certainly, hopefully other people appreciate that, but this was just a smattering of our favorites throughout the years, and thank you to everyone who has ever written to us, and not only just like the several hundred that we have read and have made it on the show, but to the several thousands people who did and still write to us and give us their stories. We appreciate all of it.
Right, we wouldn't have one episode without some of our friends. We wouldn't have 100 episodes without all of you people, so thank you.
And just like that, I guess we'll see you in March for our regular listener stories programming.
Yes, keep sending in stories and we might pick yours for a future episode. Thank you.
Happy 100th, and
Woo-hoo! That's
why
we
drink.